it going? Good to see you out there tonight, and hope that your midweek is going well. We are here on WebDM Twitch playing some Blades in the Dark. New game for me and new faces here on the channel. Happy to and excited to play with everybody. So I guess, Sharon, let's just get right into it. And why don't you introduce yourself and tell us what we're going to be playing tonight.
So I'm Sharan Biswas, and we are playing Blades in the Dark, set in the city of Duskwall. It's said that 1,000 years ago, the sun shattered and tore open the gates of death. So in Duskwall and in the entire world, when you die, your ghost appears, cannot leave, goes insane, and starts haunting people. To deal with this, the major cities of the Empire have erected giant lightning towers to keep the ghosts out. But what powers these lightning towers? The blood of giant whale demons that are hunted in an ink-black sea, of course. You all play scoundrels in the city of Duskwall, trying to eke out a living amid all these ghosts and clashing forces and various organizations doing different things. And as you try and rise in the ranks of the criminal empire. And tonight, you all are trying to rob the house of the Dimmer sisters, who are a group of sisters plus lackeys who control part of this trade of spirits and ghost essences in the city. And you have heard that they have an artifact that they're trying to sell, and your client, the Red Sashes, a gang from a neighboring country of Iruvia, has asked you to acquire this artifact before the sale happens. And all of you are on a boat in the canal, looking up to what looks like an old mill-like building with a giant wheel, a giant wall, and you're looking into this building. Remember, it is always dark in the morning. There's a little bit of twilight. After 12 hours, a little bit of twilight. Otherwise, there's strange constellations. Tonight, however, the moon is full, and as is common in Duskwall, the Dimmer sisters in the sky, not the women you're robbing, but the reflections of the moon that appear beside the real moon, are visible. Some people say the reflections have been getting bigger every year. But the moonlight illuminates each of you. And who are you and what do you look like?
So I am playing Jackdaw, a clever little tinkerer. She's of the Leech playbook. Slightly above average height, sharp angular jaw and hair pulled up in a bun. Work clothes, so a blouse and apron, work trousers and boots, and lots of belts holding lots of tinker tools and work goggles on top of her head. The left sleeve of her blouse is completely cut off to show that her left arm from right below the shoulder down is entirely made of sparkcraft, gears and metal clicking and whirring with a ghostly light.
Shauna?
Oh, hi. Shauna playing Edie Corbin, which she goes by. She is the playbook spider, so she's one of the little mastermind things. Trans woman. She's slight, so she's probably the smallest person in the group. She's black hair tied back, smart jacket, maroons skirt. She actually has probably having a little trouble with footing in the boat because she has a cane from an old injury made by the crows when she was a lurk for them. So she's trying to keep her footing there. And yep, that's it.
Hello, I'll be playing Magpie, our slide. He is an affable man, usually in some kind of dress shirt with collar, usually also with a green vest if he doesn't have a suit on top of it. Currently trying to keep his balance and not fall overboard. But yeah, he generally sharp features, calm, almost welcoming demeanor.
I'm going to be playing Solomon Bathurst, who is a whisperer who goes by the call sign of Shrike in the gang. Goes by he, they pronouns and is obsessed with basically anything occult, trying to gather information and consolidate power that will make him safe within this Duskfall world. He does form friendships, but he's also mostly leaning back and trying to figure out how he can gain the most occult power. And sometimes when he smiles, his teeth show a little sharper than you would think a human's teeth are, because he is from Tycheros, and he's usually dressed in kind of tightly fitting long jacket, because he's very kind of rail thin and has kind of a gaunt face, bags under his eyes, like he stays up too late reading grimoires every night, or has looked too much into things that humans should not look at. He has wild black hair that he keeps underneath a tricorn hat, but it is shot through with great streaks of gray, which belies what you think his age is, because he looks like he's much younger than someone who should have so much gray in their hair. And also underneath this, if you ever see in the neck of his shirt, you can see the hint of tattoos underneath his shirt. I think that's it for me.
All right, I'll jump in real quick. Sorry, my mic was muted. So Raven is standing. He's wearing a rough spun tunic that he keeps open, probably about to mid-chest, and then a traditional Savrosi long coat, sort of brocade fur-lined number that has seen better days, been patched up numerous times. Soldier's trousers and worn boots mark him as someone who's been in the military for most of his life. And he has a serene countenance, but the look of someone who has known violence for most of his life. And he tends to keep back. This is not his moment. He's here in case things go south and someone needs to be talked to.
Nice. So that's interesting. So you told me that this is the first time all five of you are actually in the same heist, right? You've been doing separate heists for the gang together. So I'm curious, especially what compelled Corbin, who doesn't walk that well and is normally the mistress mind of the operation, what compels her to come to this particular score?
She's here just because, each gang, it's getting a little competitive to get your foothold, but what better way than to ally yourself with, people that can create automations and control spirits. So she's
right.
here just to offer her assistance.
Awesome. Okay, so that's really cool. So you're all standing in the boat. It's kind of a squeeze because you can't afford. This is not your boat. You don't have a boat. So you kind of rented it. You can't rent a really big one. Your stash that you have for your crew is like 1 coin, which is about a week's worth of wages. That's not a lot, which is why you really need this job. Even though it involves going to your enemies, the Dimmer sisters, who are, they say that whenever anyone enters their house, they never come out again. So make of that what you will. So you're standing in this rickety boat. I'm going to say the colors of this scene are the silver of the newly dead, the black of your intentions in the scene, and remember the water is ink dark and black as well. But the green of your coat, Magpie, is kind of standing out. It's the one color that's making all of you feel a bit confident, like, yeah, we can do this. And as you're looking at this building, distant bells strike, marking the hour of flame. Remember, the hours on the second half of the day are named, while the hours in the first half of the day are numbered. There are 12 hours the second half of the day. It is the 5th hour, flame. So you have most of the night to do this. Come morning, things will not be as easy. So I would like we're going to flash back a little bit now. So this game uses a lot of flashback mechanics. Right now, this is not one of the paid flashbacks you have to pay for. This is a regular flashback. So where are you? What is your plan to enter this house? Remember in Blades in the Dark, I have not made a map of this house. I am going to make it up on the fly. I have some ideas, but how did you plan to enter the house? If you need to gather any information about them or what's happening, you can also do that. You also have 2 downtime activities. One, because of your spider's special power, she allows you to get an extra downtime activity. And 2, because you are in the night market in the area that's your turf. So you get to do activity. Note that the second downtime activity has to be related to the score. The first one can be any downtime activity.
And either happen before the score?
These happen before the score. So
okay, cool. So we get to decide what we did before leading up to this.
Yep. So what did you do? And remember, this can include like crafting or acquiring a specific asset, etc., etc.
Who wants to go first?
You have 2 in total, okay? Just so you know, not 2 per person.
Okay. I definitely would like to do some sort of reconnaissance or casing the joint, right? Like, particularly, what are the threats there?
Mm-hmm.
Who might, what kind of dangers might be there? Who is the most dangerous person besides?
Perfect. Basic reconnaissance does not count as a downtime activity, so you can just do it. Tell me, how did you do this? Note, you have a crew contact. Who is our crew contact, Magpie?
Our crew contact is an explorer of ghost echoes.
There you go.
Yes, and that ties into what we wanted to do.
Yeah, so you have that person. You also have your own contacts. You also you can just case the joint yourself. So how did you get this information?
So is there a place? The night market is the whole place. All the districts are next to water, right?
It's like canal heavy.
Okay, so I know that there's like a dock and like a loading place where most of the dock hands go, but is there maybe something in the night market that you could go down and be like a stevedore for a day wage and just keep an eye on it? Raven's kind of strong.
Now there is. You have said there is.
All right, let's do that.
Describe what you did and who did you talk, or what did you do? Did you stand and stare at the thing? Did you talk to people? Did you snoop for information? What did you do?
So he has maybe Magpie just put some grease paint on him or something, just something so he looks a little different, maybe wearing a hat. Different kind of hat this time, and he talks to the locals, people who are work there for a while. Raven is not a man of many words, so he tries his best, but it's more anyone around here is looking for trouble, or something along those lines.
Okay,
already make me an cutter to do the slides job.
Why not? You are military, so you're I'm gonna just get the work done.
Yeah, that's probably was his thought. Yeah, he just impatience.
Awesome. So I would like you to make me a roll for one of your actions. Which action do you think is most appropriate in this case?
Survey is what I think we'll use. He's both talking to people, but he also wants to have the building within eyeline, and he'll work through breaks. He's willing to sacrifice a bit of himself, and so I might even push myself to see is that before or after the roll.
So push yourself is before because it adds extra die. Note that in an information gathering role, there isn't really any risk.
Okay.
So at least unless you're doing I'm talking to a demon, that's different.
Sure. Right.
So if you get a bad roll, all it will mean is that the quality of information you get isn't that great. So you might want to not push yourself. That's up to you.
Sure. I don't know. Who knows? I might. I don't think I will though, because like you said, there's not a risk involved. I'll wait for it to get juicy.
Which will happen very soon. Right. So how many point dots do you have in survey?
No, single one.
Okay. So if you were to push yourself, you'd do this. This was a flashbacky action, I'd allow someone to help you take stress and get another die. But we're not doing that right now. You're just surveying this yourself. So roll me your die and tell me what you get.
So I rolled a 3 plus the 1 would be a 4.
Okay, so 4 is a medium sort of effect. So what was the specific information you wanted?
I'm looking for the most dangerous person there. That's the information I'm gathering.
Dangerous person in the house, you mean?
In the house, yeah, like guards, something like that.
Okay, so you know that there isn't. So you are talking to rumors, and people are talking to you. There's one. Let's say there's one person who's like unloading these like barrels, and he's like, I don't know how many sisters there are. Some say there's 7, some say there's 17. I don't know, but I always know that 2 of them are always in their house. Rosalind talks to all the clients and the like. They say she's like tall and beautiful, but in that dangerous kind of way, like a sharp, shiny knife, that kind of beautiful. Oh, yeah. He's not very prolific. So she's supposed to be like dangerous and she can like kill you. But what's more dangerous, I think, is her sister Ira. Oh my God. Ira consorts with the devils. They say that she's like an expert demonologist, and she like does things with ghosts and the like, and no one has ever seen her leave that house.
Oh, that's crazy. I can't believe it never leaves the house. Thank you. Hey.
So yeah, that's the info you get. That's limited because that's easy.
Sure.
They're also well known, but you don't know any details about that. And you don't know how accurate he is either. Okay, so that was some information gathering, but you still have 2 downtime actions.
So I think Solomon is going to go over to Corbin and go like, take a walk.
All right.
And he wants to go and kind of use Dowler to scout out the area and see when I explored what ghost echoes are in this area of their house, to see if there's any good getaways or if there's any ghost doors or anything that will help them get in, or an exit that they could escape through once they get what they want.
Perfect. So I don't make you roll for this because you have this crew upgrade where you folks are attuned to the ghost field very well. So in fact, all of you can see in the ghost field a little bit, right?
We can all see ghost echoes.
Yes, you can all see some echoes a bit, and your obviously your whisper can like focus and attune and figure out more, and of course your cutter can like beat them up. So yeah.
And we have in our contact is someone who's an expert in them.
Perfect. Do you want to be with your contact at this point?
Yes.
Yes.
The scene I was proposing is that I pulled Corbin aside as the spider, and I was like, let's go do some recon with this person.
Oh, that's Dowler, right?
Yeah. Dowler, yeah. With me, Shrike, Corbin, and Dowler. We're going to go quickly and do like some recon of the ghost echoes around the Dimmer Sisters' house.
Perfect. So you are on a roof, okay? Below you can hear the sounds of partying. You're in this like restaurant kind of thing, and there's like an event going on. You hear like drunken noises and things, but obviously you're not paying attention to that. You're trying to filter all that out because you are looking across a street or two. You're looking at this house, the Dimmer Sisters like mill-like house, like a water mill kind of thing. Yes. Though they say that the mill turns in opposite direction of the current sometimes. Ooh. And Dowler, Magpie, can you describe Dowler for me?
He's a pretty lanky man, dressed in always seemingly having the same exploring uniform with this kind of a signature hat, this huge backpack just stuffed with rolls of maps and sketching gear and survival rations. Never seen him actually use anything.
Awesome. Yeah, and you also notice, I mean, you don't notice now, you know this, you've met him many times, but his left eye is missing. and his left eyelid is also missing. So it's kind of like this gaping hole where his eye should be, and he likes to put random jingly objects in there to unnerve people. For you guys, he knows you. He doesn't need to unnerve you. In fact, you unnerve him because you have your whisper and your spider, which is one, the creepiest person, two, the scariest person.
Wait, which one's which?
What was that?
Oh no, we have a good relationship with him. I bring him like 8 bottles of wine.
You have a great relationship with him. That doesn't mean he isn't scared out of you, right?
Doesn't mean my sharp teeth.
One reason you have a good relationship.
Yes.
So his eye is kind of gaping emptily, but what is not gaping emptily is the like air around the Dimmer sisters' house. Because I'm gonna say you're all attuning in some way with the help of Dowler, and there are all these shimmers and like sparks of electroplasmic light. Remember, electroplasm tends to look a cerulean blue. So like sparks of electroplasm coming out of his house that normal people wouldn't be able to see. And you also, in particular, notice in an echo in the ghost field of what looks like an aqueduct kind of thing. It's like ghostly because it's in the ghost field, and it's like crumbling and broken, but it extends over this mill. So you can imagine like the mill, and then taller than that is this like aqueduct-like thing that you might be able to like jump down from or something like that.
Rappel.
Say that again?
I said we're going to rappel off the ghost aqueduct.
Maybe. Ancient. It's probably older than the mill. The architectural style is like really old. And I mean, some of you have been to academies. One of you is educated, and one of you is a mistress mind by trade. I just like using the word mistress mind instead of mastermind. I'm just going to use that. And you also, so that's the obvious one. You also know, and this is for later in the game, we can like bring these up. You can see that there are these strange like tube-like tunnels leading directly into the water from parts of the house.
Okay.
Like imagine like whoop, and that's because these are echoes of old things. They're disconnected from what's there now. You don't know what purpose they served, like 200 years ago, things like that. Well, probably not 200, probably like 500 years ago because the house is about 100 or something years old. At the moment, we can bring those pipe things up later in the game when you need like, oh, there's a pipe there.
Yeah. So basically, we found a way to get into the top of the building and also escape tubes.
Or the opposite. You could dive into the water, climb up the tubes, and then rappel up to the thing. Either way.
I mean, obviously we all have hook shots, so
Okay, one more downtime activity.
I had an idea.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe perhaps talking to some kind of auction master who might be holding a surprise auction that may draw out most, if not all, of the residents at the house during the time that we're planning on breaking in. Just trying to empty it out as much as possible.
Okay, since you suggested it, you get to do this. And I'm going to say this one is more complex, so one other team member can help you. Pick a team member.
Probably Jackdaw.
Only Jackdaw left, right?
Yeah, Jackdaw.
Hi.
Okay, so what is this thing that you both are planning to for the night of the heist to draw out people?
So I'm thinking we take advantage of people's, FOMO, fear of missing out, and the Weird Sisters being the Weird Sisters. If we can draw them out with some kind of tantalizing surprise auction of mysteries untold, I think we have a better shot at pulling this off.
Okay, so I'm gonna count this as, because I want to use the downtime action rules. This is gonna count sort of like an acquire asset because you're acquiring the services of one of your like fences or something. Do any of you have a contact that could be a convincing person here, or a vice purveyor that could be a convincing person to hold some sort of auction or something? I know at least one of you has a vice purveyor who sells arcane things.
My vice purveyor is Arana the Blessed, who is in the night market, but she's more of like a cultist, right?
Okay, yeah, you have a cultist. What do you have, Jack?
I have Sister Thorn, who is part of a gang that travels the Deathlands. Those
Ooh,
Yeah.
That would be good.
Never seen before.
yeah. Okay, so maybe you guys have convinced her to like sell some Deathland stuff, right? That you found. Okay, so when you do an acquire asset roll, you roll the crew's tier. Your tier is 0, which means you would roll 2 dice and take the worst one. You can, after you roll, spend coin to raise the result.
Ooh, this got a lot riskier.
And you're not doing anything super illegal, so this does not get you any heat. So, Magpie, would you roll 2 dice and pick the worst one for me?
First roll, and it's at disadvantage essentially.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
fine.
One.
This is
and
fine.
I can't like put effort or anything into like that since this is risky.
Because it's an acquire asset roll.
So I can.
No, you can't.
Oh, I can't. All right. Here we go then. 5 and a 1.
Okay.
Oh.
So normally it would be a 1. Would you like to spend the 1 remaining coin that your crew has to bump the 1 to 3 to a 5? Note that you can use coin in flashbacks during your heist, so it is useful.
What happens if I just fail this as a 1?
If you fail it as a 1, I'm gonna say bad things happen. Not terrible things because it's a downtime activity, but at the very least, it does not draw out all the people from the house.
So what do you guys think?
Oh, stolen car. Let's just go.
Is it +1 dice because it involves a friend/contact?
You know what? Sure. So I forgot that rule. Why didn't you re-roll, but just roll 1 die this time?
Can't.
Thank you, Jack Dom.
Gotta be
Good with the rolls.
better. It will be better.
Oh no, thank chat for that.
Yes.
You got a 3. Okay, that's the same result as a 1.
Woo!
I say spin the
Nice
coin.
try.
Yeah, let's just
Let's do it. Yeah, spend this coin. We're
Let's
gonna
just
get
spend
some coin, hopefully.
All right. So what does
Now
spending
we
the coin
definitely
do?
have to get coin.
Wait,
No, we have
if you spend the coin, that will become a 4/5. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So you spend the coin, and what is your scavenger's name, Jackdaw?
Sister Thorn.
Sister Thorn. So Sister Thorn isn't always in town because she's often scavenging. So she's in town and helped by you guys, she puts up this hullabaloo, and you know that on like the day you're doing the heist right now, or right now, yeah, in the present, a number of the guards, because they're scared about what scavenged materials have, and a couple of some of the higher ranking members are gone. Does not mean all are gone. Particularly, you did not see either Rosalind or Ira leave the building.
Okay.
And as Raven found out, some people consider them the most dangerous people in the building. People. There are other dangerous things in the building. Okay, great. So that is your downtime stuff. Perfect. So you are standing in the water in this boat. The aqueduct is like near you, so you can get to it and climb if you need to use the aqueduct. There's a wall that looms up in front of you. It is covered in lichen that mirrors the green of your coat, Magpie. So maybe that's a good sign. Hopefully it is. And then you can see the wheel stationary, kind of gently swaying back and forth this way, but not like turning. What are you doing? Oh, sorry. Before what are you doing, you're going to make me an engagement roll to tell me what position you are in. So who has not rolled dice yet? Perfect. So I'm going to say Edie, Corbin is going to make the engagement roll for me. So first off, everyone asks questions. Is this operation particularly bold or daring?
Yes, it's the Demo Sisters.
Yeah,
Basically the stronghold of your enemies who are powerful.
They are
So that's
way
1
here.
die.
Mhm.
Okay. Does the plan's detail expose a vulnerability of the target or hit them where they're weakest?
Oh,
I think we're exposing a vulnerability by using the ghost echoes to get in and
Ghost
out.
echoes.
Yep.
okay.
That is, so take a second die. Do they have particular defenses or special preparations? Yes, you're attacking their fortress. So remove that die. Okay.
All right.
Do any of your friends or contacts provide aid or insight for this operation? I'm going to say automatically yes, because the Eruvians, the red sashes, are helping you in this. So take a die for that.
Okay.
Are your enemies or rivals interfering? Also yes.
Okay. We're a lot of canceling out, but we're ahead.
Right. Are there other elements? No, but then you get one extra die for sheer dumb luck.
Okay.
Just a standard, you always start with that. So this determines what position you are in the first roll of your score. So roll those 2 dice.
Please, come on. It's our first heist. It's our first heist. Come on. Okay. Oh, okay. That's one of those is better.
The highest one counts.
It was 1 and 5.
Okay, so mixed result. You are in a risky position when the action starts. Remember, the default position of the game is risky, so it's not that bad. Okay, so whatever you're gonna do is gonna be in a risky position. So what are you gonna do now? You're in front of this. The aqueduct is there. The wall is there.
Frank kind of looks over at everybody as the moonlight's playing off of the side of the boat and goes, "We're going in on the aqueduct."
Thought so, yes.
We climb it, we drop down, we get what we're coming for, and then we leave through the tubes.
Yes.
Yes. Can't believe we're breaking in here.
We can probably leave our boat by one of these tubes so that we go straight to the boat when we're on our way out.
So you approach one of the tubes and it's a ghost echo, right? So the tube is kind of hazy, indistinct, immaterial. All of you can't even see it that clearly. Shrike, when you have your mask on, if you have your mask on you can see it more. Jackdaw, you can see it super clearly. Possibly because you have electroplasm running through your veins and arm. Possibly not, but yeah. So you can kind of hating, and you can even tie the boat to it because you have this weird connection to the ghost field.
So we'll leave our boat here, guys, and we'll climb up the aqueduct, rappel down, do what we gotta do, and then get the fuck out.
Do we know what we're stealing?
I just assumed
Artifact.
the shiniest thing in the room, most likely.
So your red sash contact, whose name is Najla. So I will make a note of this. If you can also make a note of this. So your red sash contact, her name is Najla, and she told you that it is wrapped in layers and layers of. So she heard it's wrapped in layers and layers of very finely embroidered red cloth that she thinks, she doesn't know, she's not an occultist, she thinks is supposed to dampen the magic, the power of this artifact. So she said, watch out for that.
Right.
Kind of know what it looks like. And yeah, that's all it's kind of oblong, weird, irregular shape. It's not like a smooth sphere or anything.
So no one's seen it.
No, well, she says that some of her people saw it, and she's describing that to you. He did not see it.
But because Shrike immediately worries that they'll wrap a dummy thing in the thing to try to fool us. So we want to. I think we would have asked for more details.
To be fair,
you don't have any more details, but you do know that it is probably arcane in nature, so you can do experiments or you can quickly test when you're near it to see if it will be arcane. This is kind of the Dimmer sisters are decently powerful enough to not have everyone know what this thing is.
That's why we have 2 experts here.
Yeah,
you can figure out when you're there. Exactly. Okay. So I'm gonna say you managed to climb up this aqueduct. It's very strange if anyone were to see you which they might because the moons are shining, they would see 5 people sort of scaling the sky. They're like climbing up nothing, but you guys know that you can climb up, and it feels very strange because the ghostly aqueduct is at once chilly to the touch, as though it's like ice and slippery, but it also has a bit of give, as though your fingers sink into it, as though you're digging your fingers into raw organs of a freshly slaughtered animal. So it's kind of unsettling. I would say Shrike is less unsettled. He's like, whatever, been there, done that.
Shrike actually gathers a little bit of it in one of his little vials.
Nice, yeah, and you like put it away. It may or may not last. You'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
Okay, so I'm just gonna say you climb up it. Interesting. You are the most arcane party I've ever played with. This is wild. Kind of stealthily, as much as you can, in the middle of the sky, crawl across it, and I'm gonna say the first roll you're gonna have to make is when you rappel down, because that's the challenging part. So climbing up was slow and steady. You helped each other. Even Corbin, who had a walking stick, was helped by the others. So what are you doing? Are you like jumping? Do you have any equipment that can help? Oh, and what load did each of you pick? So remember, in Blades in the Dark, you only pick the number of items you took at the start of the game, and then during the game, you get to just pick items that you have from your inventory.
I picked a normal, which thief rigging puts up to heavy.
Okay,
But
so 7.
as far as the mechanic and the look, I look like a normal load.
Okay. Raven?
Yeah, normal as well, although Raven is probably, some of that is at least 1 level of armor. So
Nice,
he's got his overcoat over it, and then maybe like a buff jacket, like just like deer hide or something like that.
Yep, perfect. Okay. Magpie?
I took a light load, so that would be 5 of our rigging.
Perfect. Yeah, and especially if you need to sweet talk someone, it's helpful if you're not looking like you're carrying a lot of stuff. Yep. Jackdaw?
I took a normal plus thief's rigging, so 7.
Perfect. And Corbin, who cannot walk very well, so if you have a heavy load, just letting you know.
Yep, she's taking light loads. That's the 2 extra. So
Perfect. And thieves rigging, the 2 extra should mainly be like burglary tools, those kinds of things that are in your, like climbing tools, burglary tools, those kinds of things. Okay, so how are you? You're going to be in a risky position because the part that you're on is has a bit more give than the rest. Like parts of it, you can almost see are like steaming away as you stand. And also there are gaps. There are more gaps than the part you are climbing up. And you can hear the faint sound of running water, though you cannot see a source of it apart from the canal, which isn't running that fast.
So Shrike looks over the edge and kind of is doing like this calculating thing with his head sideways, and then he pulls out one of their ropes, which has like a weight attached to the end, and kind of throws it in the opposite direction to make it loop all the way around with the lead in, so it comes around so they can have it connected all the way around the.
Nice. So what are you? I would say you mark off maybe climbing equipment, right? Okay, so you have a rope, which makes your climbing a bit easier. So it's not desperate because you're not like.
And it's all the way around it connected, so it's not like just going to.
It's risky because you're putting this rope around a ghost echo of something. But I'm gonna say you're probably gonna have to do a group action to climb down together.
Oh, and can I make this like a double, like an extra thing action where as it goes around, he kind of takes a vial of electroplasm out and like kind of blows on it so it coats the rope, so it's more attuned to what it's attaching to.
Yeah, so I'm gonna say rather than use the equipment for that, maybe you are just attuning.
Okay, I'm trying to attune the rope the same frequency as the ghost echo.
Yeah. So that's interesting. So when all of you are climbing down as a group action, most of you will use something that will help you climb. However, Shrike will use his attune as his action. So a group action means all of you roll, and you can count the highest of everyone's dice. However, any 1s, 2s, and 3s will give the leader stress. And in this case, I'm going to assume that Shrike is the leader for this action because
because I'm kind of attuning the ropes that we're using to make them better.
Okay, so everyone, what scores do you think you're going to use for this?
I'm using a tune.
So Shrike is using a tune. You guys are climbing down a rope. What score do you think is the most appropriate?
I would probably use Prowl, but Ghost Fighter also imbues any tools I have with spiritual energy. So would that...
So I'm gonna say that will make the effect of this action higher. So if you succeed, you're gonna get exactly what you wanted, combining all these different effects. Yeah. So I would say Prowl sounds about good for everyone. So everyone roll your Prowl, Shrike roll your tune.
I was gonna ask if I could do Tinker because if I could just use something in like with my arm being, ghostly.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Tinker is when you are doing something with mechanisms. So if you want to use Tinker, you're gonna be fiddling with your arm right now while climbing down and stuff.
Yeah, never mind. I'll take Prowl.
Yeah.
All right. Since I have nothing in Prowl, I'm gonna push myself. So I don't want to give.
You don't have to roll. You can roll 2 and take the worst one because you're going to add the success of all of you for a group action.
Yeah, I just don't want our arcane thing to get too stressed out too quickly because I'm willing to take that.
So then you would take 2 stress to push yourself.
Mm-hmm. I want to make sure he doesn't get stressed out or worrying about me again.
But just know that you are taking stress instead of them in this case.
Yes, 100%. Yes.
Okay. Did anyone get a 5 or a 6?
What effect is this? What effect do we want?
This is gonna, because of all the stuff you have, this is gonna be great effect. So remember, it's great, standard, or limited. So you're gonna get great effect because of all the things you've prepared. So did anyone get a 6? Did anyone get a 5?
I got a 5 and a 4.
So we have at least 1 5, so we're going to count as a 5. Did anyone get a 1, 2, or 3?
Oh, yeah.
Even with that, I didn't.
Okay, so that means your Whisper, Shrike, will take 3 stress.
Oof.
Yeah.
Okay? As you're trying to make sure that you're attuning, you're focusing up the rope while climbing, while helping everyone. Someone has a bad leg, someone has a giant heavy arm attached to her. So you take some stress.
I think you can kind of see a crackling around Shrike's hand as he's grabbing the rope. As at first it's not showing, but then as they start to go down, he's holding onto it, and the veins around his eyes start to stand out black and snake up down the side of his face, and his eyes are getting darker as he's trying to hold this rope in a tune with everyone on it.
Maybe our 2 abilities to interact with this rope in a spectral manner are messing with each other somehow.
Ooh, yeah, that's interesting. That's what causes the
My arm's slightly on the fritz.
with the arm.
Okay, so this is happening. How does Magpie, who is more of a face and less of a let me climb down ghostly aqueducts on electrified rope, how are you feeling?
Magpie is I know Dowler said it's possible. I know I'm holding on to it. I know I can see it, but I still don't trust it.
Awesome. But your little faith you do have in your crew pays off because you managed to find there is a there is a chimney, and you manage like Santa Claus to go right through the chimney, and you kind of some of you fall on each other and it's kind of annoying, but you manage to land right inside the house without a ton of noise. However, you do get a 4 or 5, so you did make a little bit of noise. So I'm gonna start a clock. And the clock is called. The clock is a 6-part clock. The clock is called Not So Dim. Because the dimmer system will detect you once the clock is full. So one segment of the clock has been filled.
Ooh.
Okay, so the colors of this room are the jade of strange stone figurines arranged in this trophy room sort of chamber that you're in, a gloomy purple because it's dark. But there's like the gloom, the coloring of the room seems to suggest it's like warmth to it somehow. And yeah, so those are the colors of this scene. You're in this like trophy room with random objects everywhere. Many of them seem to be made of this jade-like material. At one end of the room is a door, and there seem to be like benches arrayed in this room as though like an art gallery. Like you'd sit and look at some of these things on the shelves. What are you doing?
I have a quick question.
Yeah.
So are there any like outside guards or?
I think we got them to all go outside.
Okay.
So you did see like one or two figures walking in the house, like from windows and things. You didn't really see any like armed guards outside.
Okay.
I mean, there's also the reputation to consider. Like people just don't try and enter this house. So
Who would be dumb enough to rob the Dimmer sisters?
okay, what are you doing?
I'd like to post a look as lookout or something. Find a place a little bit out of the way, but I'm gonna let the professionals do their job while I watch over them.
Okay, so you just stand in one corner so you can survey the whole room?
Yeah.
Perfect. Others?
So Strike looks over at Corbin and Jackdaw and says, I think I should probably scan for people in here or any surprises.
Okay. So one thing, do you know, A, do you know where the object is? B, do you know the layout of the house, anything at all? So you remember, this is Blaze in the Dark, so you can...
So we can do a flashback where we got like some schematics.
Exactly.
Yes.
In fact, if you look at the spider, I think, inventory, I think blueprints is one of them.
Yep, blueprints. Yep.
So you can, if you would like, the spider can be like, haha!
So if the spider has are you saying you have blueprints out?
What do we want? Do we want the blueprints of the
I can
house?
try to do with blueprints.
Or do we want something that will help us identify what this object is?
I think blueprints to the house that has like a little mark where our person said they were storing the stuff.
Right, because I don't think the Dimmer sisters really believe anyone would try to rob them. I doubt they would go. They might have guards, but I doubt they take that far precautions.
Yeah, so it's probably like some sort of rough blueprint of like someone that tried to burglarize it, didn't get far enough, but just has a good idea what the house looks like.
And has like a little mark where they were told the thing is being held.
Corbin, just as a narrative note, how on earth did you acquire these blueprints to the Dimmer sisters' house?
Oh, from my my contact. What's her name? Sally, my information broker friend.
Ooh,
Perfect.
nice. So she sold you these a while ago, and yeah, you have them. And you asked her where she got them, and she just gave you an enigmatic smile, and didn't say anything. Exactly like that smile you just gave.
Solomon is kind of distractedly with his head like that. He hold his hand. I was like, "May I?"
Yes, here, take them. See if you can find out where it is.
Solomon puts it on the ground and pulls out from his pocket a piece of chalk that looks like a piece of chalk, but you all know it's actually chalk made from bone dust. And he starts to draw these runes around the edge of the blueprint, marking them like almost geometric spaces, and then puts his hand on the side, and he's trying to infuse and attune with the map of the place so that he can sense the future ghost echoes of the people who would be in the house and kind of have like little marks on the map where people are.
Okay, interesting. So yeah, so this works because you guys have this like relationship to ghostly architecture. I'm gonna say, so first off, a couple of things you notice on the map, and then we'll do the attune roll, right? So a couple of things on the map, the house is big, there are lots of like rooms, there are a bunch of bathrooms. There are clearly some parts of the house that aren't used very much, apparently. There's some scrawled notes. The wheel, the mill wheel, there's some note that's connected to a weird spark craft room. don't know what's happening there. But what really catches your attention is that the foundations of this part of the city are actually pretty deep. And there is actually an abandoned temple to one of the forgotten gods beneath this house, attached to the house. Okay? And this is not common knowledge. In fact, Corbin, when you first saw this on the map, you were like, wait, what? They must just have a whole temple complex under their house.
Oh, that 100% fits in one of the, like, when she was growing up, it was like one of those places, like, if you're bad, they'll come and get you and drag you in there. So she is kind of terrified being in here because it's like people come in here and don't come out.
Yeah, I like that. Okay, so Shrike, I want you to try and do an action roll to try and figure out this thing you're doing.
All right, so that would be a tune.
Okay, so I'm gonna say the effect is going to be, so it's not gonna be super effective. It's gonna be a limited effect, but the position you're in is not very dangerous right now. So you're in a controlled position.
Okay. So the effect he's going for, if I explained it right, was that he wants it to be kind of like a map of little dots where people are walking around on it and stuff. All right.
Also, you can push yourself to not just get an extra die, but to increase the effect from limited to standard.
All right, let's do that.
Okay, so take 2 stress. Does anyone want to help Shrike? You would spend 1 stress to give Shrike an extra die.
I want Magpie to like be behind him doing like this behind him while Shrike's doing his mysticism thing. It's not really helping.
That help.
It doesn't really help, but I feel like
you're just doing it. Perfect. You're just like
I can lend a hand.
Uh-huh. How are you lending a hand? Like, are you lending your literal hand?
If that helps, perhaps.
I feel like they're helping me because we've spent a lot of time going over schematics together. And so like we're used to going over and like pointing back and forth and figuring out like schematics and diagrams together. So we have like a shorthand that we talk to each other in, and we both know what the other person is good at and not as good at.
Nice. Okay, that makes sense.
So it's like study partner bonus, you know.
I love this relationship you two have. You're like study buddies.
Yeah.
We are the creepiest study buddies.
We're the creepiest study buddies.
Okay,
right, so that means I get
1 extra die, and that means Jackdaw, you take 1 stress. Clock position, someone asked, we have 1 segment filled in not so dim.
All right, so now I roll all those.
All those dice? Yep.
Um, 5, 5, 6, 4.
Okay, so you have 1 6. You're in a controlled position. You do it. You get a standard effect. So what happens is all of you feel a like chill in the room as you attune to the ghost field. But not only are you tuning to it, you are compelling it to like do something, right? But only you, Shrike, see this. None of the others can see this, but the map sort of like shimmers. And you said you were trying to find the people, right? Not the artifact itself?
I mean, if I was boosting it for greater effect, so I mean, I think that I would be also looking for the artifact as part of the greater effect.
Okay, so no, you went from limited to standard effect, right?
Okay.
So I'm gonna say you feel that there is a strong occult presence pacing in the room right next to you. You also feel there is an incredibly strong occult presence standing still in one of the main chambers of the temple. And you notice there is an important figure that doesn't seem that occult to you, heading down into the temple at this very moment.
I don't get any pings off of the relic.
You guess, if you are to use your knowledge, that the incredibly strong occult force is probably the relic.
Okay, the one that's down in the
The
temple.
sisters have summoned a greater demon or something of some kind.
Oh boy.
Does that extremely strong occult knowledge, thing match up with where our blueprints said the thing should be?
So the blueprints are just the blueprints of the house, but it does seem to be in the temple area, which you would imagine is, a fitting place to put important relic artifact things.
Mm-hmm.
Magpie whispers, "Of course, it's on the bottom floor."
Oh, it's in the spooky.
So Strike with the chalk quickly marks everything that they saw in actual chalk, marking like dangerous. We have our own symbols that we've worked out, and then he marks like faux point of interest.
Yep. So you also know, notably, that in the next room there is an occult force.
The one that was kind of moving around.
Can we go downstairs without going through that room?
Yes. So it's like a corridor and your room, and then the room next door. So just if you make a lot of noise, something might hear you.
Is that the only like set of occult things that we think is the sisters?
There may be more, but they are not active.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Fact, if you know the Dimmer sisters, you would be surprised if there were not more.
Yeah. Do we want to do something that will maybe like on the map show where they are if there's some sort of disruption from outside the house?
I'm going to say that is beyond the abilities that spectrologists have.
Okay.
At this point, especially in your tier.
Okay, I guess I can maybe help by like creating a disruption from outside. So I might use a flashback for this.
Nice. Okay. So what would you like to have done?
So this is still this is night market, right?
Yep. This is where like a lot of illicit goods.
Oh, there's tons of like just like these just gangs of children out there. And so like being from one of them, I will like give them a little bit of money to basically like knock on the door and then just like leave just like disruption outside, just like egg the house or something just to get their attention, just so it makes it easier for us to go across this area.
Okay, so let's see. So I'm going to say there aren't a lot of children in the night market area, but there are a lot of children in Crowsfoot where you're from, right? A lot of street urchins, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I'm going to say you like coerced / paid / intimidated.
Paying them, yeah.
To like travel to the night market, which is daunting to do, and like go up to this pretty scary house, which wouldn't normally go to.
It's like one of those things where it's like to prove you're a badass, and that as a child, it's just knock on the door.
Let's do a mini scene, okay? Yeah. So Rig, who is this like 12-year-old with a big scar on his face and like filthy clothes. He's sometimes paid by the Eruvians to take messages around. He's standing in front of you. Where is this?
This is outside. I think one of the the tavern. I forget.
Yeah, a tavern. Great.
A tavern, and they just they'll pester people as they leave. If they're drunk, they might take
money from them and stuff. Perfect. So he's pestering someone, and then you come up, and he goes pale because you're kind of scary. And he says, "What do you want, lady?"
Oh, excellent. What was his name again? Sorry.
Rig.
Rig. I need someone with your particular skills and your particular bravery for this. Something small.
Commands like a gang of urchins, okay?
Mm-hmm. You know what would make you just the talk of Crowsfoot?
Listening.
If you knocked on the Dimmer sisters' door and egged their house at the show of how grand and fearless you are. Maybe they'll get the red sashes or one of the bigger banks to notice you and maybe consider you over one of the other children.
But this is the Dimmer sisters. They say they like eat kids to do their like occult stuff. I swear, my ma told me that her sister's like friends, like wife's like son, like went into that house and got eaten and never came out again. I'm not gonna go near that place.
I'll give you a little hint. I've done that before. It's a rite of passage. It wasn't always like this. If you do this, it's a little bit of silver in here for you. And you don't have to like shake down all these drunks for at least a night. You can eat well.
Okay, I just have to make some noise, then I can run away, right?
Just make noise, run away. You only have to wait there for them to open the door. Just go and run.
Okay. End flashback. Take 2 stress was slightly more complex because they're gonna have to travel all the way to another district, and they're kind of terrified of doing this. Okay. Oh, is my screen too dark for people? Can people see me? No, you cannot see me.
Shrouded in mystery and shadow, my friend.
Oh, okay. Let me turn the light on in my apartment.
I mean, it's thematic, so.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I thought so.
Okay, I have a dimmer, so I made the light slightly dim.
It's like just as it gets dark, it's just like, oh no. Oh, this is going to go well.
Yeah.
As our stress goes up, his light level goes down.
So the way I want to trigger, kind of show them when it's time is basically if there's a window, I've kind of told them just to look around, and if I kind of have a just like a match, I'm just gonna light a match in a window.
Like a signal?
A signal, and that's when I want them to do this.
Perfect. So most people carry oil lamps around because there is no light in the city ever.
Yep.
Fancy rich people carry electroplasm lights around, but you are not fancy rich people. Perhaps Jackdaw's arm can do a brief flare of light, but then it would be useless and powerless after that.
Oh, well, that's actually good because it's fairly like, oh, that's definitely what it is.
What?
They'll see. Oh, they'll see it, and it's like, okay, this is our signal.
Okay, so like a lamp. Yeah. So the flame lamp, right?
Or Jackdaw's arm maybe is a good thing.
If Jackdaw used her arm to make light, it would have no power after that.
Oh, okay. Just like a match because I need something for my dream powder, so I always kind of have
Ooh, you know what could be fun? Jackdaw's sort of an alchemist-ish, right? Maybe it's a colored flame. It's a different color.
Oh yeah, I can do that.
Oh, sweet.
What color is it?
Excellent.
What color do you want it?
Maybe green. That seems to be your lucky color with Magpie.
Yep. Yeah, green might be good.
Yeah. Great. So I think barium salts give an apple green flame, if I remember my AP chemistry. So you light, you flare this little light, and almost instantly you hear a loud chorus of children singing outside. They're singing this silly song about the eel that got eaten by the live eel that got eaten by the farmer's wife who fell in the canal. Eel, by the way, is one of the most common foodstuffs in the city. Eel and mushroom pie is a common dish that people have. And then you hear splat, splat, splat as something wet hits the walls and windows of this house, and then you hear like thudding, and then you hear screams, scared screams of kids running away. Not blood curdling, terrified scream, but scared, oh no, and running away. But you also, more significantly, hear strong footsteps, heavy footsteps in the next room, move into the corridor and start moving away.
Yep. So I just give the signal good to strike. If we're gonna move down there, it's time to go now.
Magpie wants to. First, he mutters, "I really hope they don't eat children," and then he looks around the room and he checks the blueprints. And what he's looking for is personal items, personal characteristic things, papers, or any kind of information that he could use to his advantage, whether it be revealing about the people who live here or something to the effect of blackmail.
Okay, make me. So this room seems to be a gallery of sorts, right? Art gallery thing. So there aren't a lot of personal items, but you could find something maybe. Make me a roll. What score do you think is appropriate here? What are you doing in this room?
Probably either be survey or probably be survey.
Yeah, I think survey makes sense. I'm going to say your controlled position, and it's going to be standard effect.
Okie doke.
So how many dice is that?
I just got the one.
Is anyone helping you and taking stress?
I wanted to look around the room as well, but I wanted to look for more arcane on the arcane side, things that I can steal that I can.
Yeah,
break.
I was gonna do this. Look around the room for a second too, so I guess I can help take some stress.
So one of you chooses to help. Which one wants to help? Jackdaw or Strike?
I think
I think
Jackdaw
Strike has taken a lot of stress.
Yeah.
I think actually they were looking for different things, and actually now that I think about it, I kind of want to do something else. You said
I'm not going to count as I look for this kind of thing. I'm going to say you're going to look for important things. Yeah?
All right.
And Shrike is gonna so Shrike isn't helping Jackdaw, but Magpie, but they are also they're looking to see if all these jade things are somehow connected to any type of occult alarm system.
Yeah, Jackdaw, I help you out now. You help me out later.
Yeah, got it.
Oh.
Okay, so who's making the roll?
Jackdaw can look here.
So Jackdaw's making the roll with a survey, and Magpie take a stress.
1 or 2.
Could I do study?
If you do study, that would work. But I think study you have to be more hands-on, which means you might make more noise. So it's gonna be a risky. Okay.
Okay. So do we want to do that, or do we want to stick to survey? I'm talking to Magpie more, so for each side.
If you're making the roll, it's what you're better at, right?
I'm better at studying things, so go with that.
Right. So risky. Oh, also remember, anytime you do a desperate action, you mark experience. Okay. Okay. So make your risky roll with a +1 die from Magpie. Do you want to push yourself?
No. What effect? Standard?
Standard.
Okay.
And I take 1 stress or 2 stress?
1 stress for helping.
Okay.
Oh boy. No, I rolled really poorly.
What did you roll?
He hates me. I rolled a 1 and a 2.
Ooh. So the book says things go badly. You suffer harm, or a complication occurs, or you end up in a desperate position, or you lose the opportunity. So, Raven, you have been paying attention to the door and to make sure. So first off, you noticed obviously the noise outside. You saw a splat of rotting garbage hit the window. Remember, chickens grow well in the city, but they're expensive, so no one would waste eggs by egg a house, right?
Just garbage.
They just threw some garbage. However, because you're the only everyone's studying the room and doing that kind of stuff, you're paying attention, and you hear some a muffled voice from outside the room somewhere, and then you hear a male voice. Sounds like an elderly kind of voice, and I'm going to just say you have sharp ears, so you hear it, saying, "Yes, mistress, I will check the gallery post-haste."
Yeah, I think whenever Shrike was showing us the blueprints, and we noticed that there was this presence in the next room over, that Raven would have moved towards the door and drawn his broad-bladed Severosi dagger that he has.
Okay.
So he's waiting. He's assuming that we're gonna get.
Yeah, perfect. So mark that off as a light weapon, right?
I actually have. It's fine. I can. I have a fine hand weapon.
Oh, so fine means it'll count as a higher tier. So okay. Awesome. Okay. Excuse me. So you, as you guys are looking, you kind of make. I'm gonna say you. The failure is that you, as you're looking really excitedly, your metal arm jiggles a shelf and. What was that?
I just say no, nothing. It's fine.
Okay, yeah, your elbow hits a shelf, and there's a thud, and then everything on the shelf jumps up for an instant. That makes a noise. And so you heard this voice, and then something starts jiggling with the closed door as though unlocking it. That means it was locked to begin with. What do? You have an instant to react?
The minute it seems like the door is unlocked, I want to take my one hand and pull him in, and then with the other kind of put my arm around his mouth. And once I've got him in a grapple, we'll do something.
Okay. The others doing anything? Or you're just like waiting. You do have Raven. You do have the initiative because you're the one who's good at fighting, and you're like, I will do this thing. I would say maybe the others. Maybe Edie can react because the others were kind of busy.
Yeah.
Studying. What is Edie doing in this case?
I want to actually help Raven by maybe as you're going in and when he's moving, just trip him with my cane a little bit.
Ooh, using your weakness as an advantage. I love that. Okay. So the door opens. Make me an action roll, Raven. And Edie, take a stress because Raven gets an extra die from being helped.
All right. I will push myself because I don't really feel like I feel like giving myself some extra padding.
Okay, so take 1 extra die. Take 2 stress. What score is this, do you think?
So I'm definitely going with skirmish, which I've got a 2 in, a 2 rating.
Yep, that makes sense. You're like grabbing him. Okay, so it's standard risky.
Slitting his throat.
Yeah.
Risky position, standard effect. But you have a bunch of dice, so go ahead.
There we go. And then my fine does that do anything? Does that bump up?
It'll increase the effect. It'll carry the tier if there was a clash of tier stuff.
Gotcha.
But not really.
Gotcha. All right. And then,
Silent takedown. Come on.
yeah, I'll stab him in the kidney. Oh,
You actually stab him?
5 and 2. Actually, I don't want to stab. I don't want to kill him immediately, but I will. My knife is out. Grab with one hand. He's there. But I got a 4, 5, and a 2.
Okay, so you got a 5. So you do it, but there is a consequence. You might suffer harm, complication, reduce effect. Okay, so the door opens, and this slightly older, not elderly, but older, early 50s, mid 50s kind of guy, dressed in livery kind of Victorian suit kind of thing. Steps in. He's not really expecting much when this huge military muscled guy leaps on him and pulls him aside. So I'm gonna say the complication, however, is that in his hand he was carrying, like I said, everyone does, an oil lamp that was lit. He drops the oil lamp. It shatters. And one of the benches immediately ignites.
Nice.
So you're holding on securely to this dude. He can't say anything. You put your hand up and you have a dagger at his throat or whatever. But now the room is on fire slightly. So what are you guys doing?
If I can, I'm gonna.
One thing. Sorry, before you go, I forgot to say this rule. You can always reduce the severity of a complication by making a saving throw. I forgot what the actual term is called, but the saving throws, remember, are the ones which use the leftmost column. That one. Resistance.
Resistance roll.
Do
Yeah.
a devil's bargain.
Yes, devil's bargain.
A devil's bargain to try to catch the lamp before it hits the ground.
Ooh.
You can. I'm gonna say. Because the narrated it fell and broke, you can take a devil's bargain to try and put it out really quickly.
Okay.
Okay.
What would be?
Or you can try and make a resistance roll, Raven, to try and reduce the severity of this thing that I just told you.
I would love to do that. Maybe as he sees it, he sees the lamp falling, and he's like, "Oh no!" And he's just gonna try to put his foot out, just to hits that first before it hits the floor.
Yeah. Okay. So it seems like a prowess roll if you're putting your foot out, right?
That sounds like, and I got a 3 rating in that. Yeah.
Ooh, because you have points in prowl, skirmish, and finesse. I'm guessing.
Wreck is my other one. Yeah.
Nice. 3 is nearly the highest. Okay. So what would happen is you roll your 3 dice, and you take stress equal to 6 minus your highest die, but you reduce the effect automatically.
Sweet. All right.
Okay, so roll your 3 dice.
How many bonus dice do I get then? I don't get any bonus dice.
You just get 3 dice, yeah, for resistance roll.
Okay. All right.
Magpie would also like to immediately approach the guy and stuff his trance powder in his face.
Ooh, nice. Okay, so first, Raven, what'd you get?
4, 6, and 6.
Okay, so that is a critical. Awesome. So more than 1 6 means it's a critical. So I'm gonna say the bench. I'm gonna say you thought the bench was gonna catch fire, but you're so military good. You stick out your leg, ramrod ballet dancer straight, and the hook of the lamp literally catches around your ankle,
He just
and the
hands.
lamp is now dangling off your foot as your like leg is sticking out straight. So you haven't been able to do this maneuver in a while. It's coming back to you.
Yeah, it's those horse riding legs that he's got, you know. He just holds his foot out to whoever's nearby to take the lamp.
I will.
Yeah,
I will
strike
take
is
the
great.
lamp.
God.
Oh.
Unless you really want the lamp, I will just. Sorry.
Oh, you put the lamp away. Yep. Okay. Magpie. Mark off your trance powder. So you have
All right.
used it all. And you like. What did it look like?
It is a small silk sack with a somewhat tight cord wrapped around it, which he can pull off with one hand and just. It's essentially designed where he can throw it in like a sweep if he needs to.
Nice.
But in this case, he's just going for full like in the nose and face. Just
What
get as
does it,
much.
more importantly, what does it smell like?
It smells like what makes it's very like particular to the person and smells whatever they feel is the most relaxing. It could be the sea, it could be like a grassy field, it could
Interesting. So I'm really curious. Raven and Magpie, what does it smell like to you both? Remember, this could be related to your vice if you find your vice relaxing, or what relaxes you both?
Raven smells the delightful little aromas of his favorite dockside brothel. They have a particular incense that he finds very relaxing, and he just is, for a brief moment, is kind of taken away by it.
Awesome. So this like sort of ashy but floral smell, right? For an incense. Nice. And Magpie, what do you smell?
fresh bread, just wafts freshly break. Is there fresh bread available, or
So,
I'm actually not sure?
Wheat is grown under the light of the electroplasm fences. It's expensive, so it's you don't get it very often. But so when you do get it, it's like amazing. Most bread is made of various river weeds and algae, dried and pounded together, turned into a kind of bready thing. So
Yeah.
real wheat bread, or other kinds of bread, is like very cool.
Yeah, he's been to a couple of fancy parties undercover, and oh man, when those artisans do their best, oh, it's such a good smell.
Yeah, you remember like little canapé bread with hagfish cheese smeared on them that you remember being really divine. So it smells like that to you, and you're like, oh my god, sleep, bitch. The butler person like blinks at you, his eyes startled, and then they soften, and he sits down. So remember, trance powder puts you in a light, suggestive, hypnotic state.
Right. So I want to when he's like calmed down, it's like, you're the caretaker of this place.
Like
There's a mess in here. All these things need to be straightened out and taken care of.
he sits down, and then he starts slowly pulling himself up. He's like, yes, I must polish these. We're having a sale soon. I must polish the wares. And he doesn't have a polishing rag on him, but he thinks he does. So he starts like invisible rubbing the statues in the room.
Can I take his keys?
Great.
Ooh.
Yes, he has a set of keys. Perfect. He has a set of keys that he dropped, right? Because he used them to open the door. That you caught with your other foot. No. You pick it off the floor. Great, you have his keys. Well done. And he is kind of out of the picture unless you do something really raucous.
Oh, I also want to specifically tell him that one of the paintings fell over, which is what caused the ruckus, and we aren't here.
Okay, so you don't know how suggestive you can be.
Yeah. I'm just pushing as far as I can.
But you put it as you can, so you think he'll react. You don't know. Hopefully. Okay. So that's that. But then you hear a woman's voice in the next room, being like, Charles, hurry back soon. Charles clearly didn't hear this. He is in his daze. But you do hear this from the next room.
All right.
What are you guys doing?
Oh, I thought that person went down the corridor.
That's what you thought. That's what I didn't tell you that. I said heavy footsteps went down.
The strike kind of like leans over to where the guy is pantomiming cleaning. He's like, "You're almost done. Isn't it gonna be great when you can go back and tell them that it was nothing?"
And he says, "Sparkling. Everything is sparkling."
Nope,
And he leaves the room and walks with him. Now, he leaves and goes to the next room. Most people can recognize when someone's in a trance.
Okay, we have.
So he is going into the next room, and you can now hear heavy metallic thudding coming up the stairs. Now that the door is open, you can clearly tell that the thudding is metallic. You can hear jackdaw. You can hear gears. You can hear springs. This is clearly an automaton of some sort.
Can we dash to a different location, like before it gets?
Yeah,
up?
we can slide that door closed and go out the other way, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. Quickly.
Let's go. Yeah.
And as we're going out the other door, I just take one of the
Lock
One
it
of
behind us.
with jade figurines and put it in my pack.
They make a fortune roll to decide how valuable this jade. Actually, make me a finesse roll. It's like a fortune roll, so there's no risk, but it'll just tell me how valuable your figurine is.
These.
4?
4. Okay, it is not the item that will help power your golem, but it is a valuable item that you can use, that you'll be able to use or sell or something with.
Coin. Yeah.
Maybe the counter coin at the end of the heist. Yeah. Okay. You quickly dash into the first room because you don't have time to look at the blueprint. Ooh, what room should we dash into? You just like all 5 of you just rush into another room, shut the door, blah blah. Great. You shut the door. You hear the thud, thud, thud. And then you can't hear anything else because it turns out the door of this room is incredibly heavy and you can't really hear anything from the side. And then very soon you realize maybe why the door of this room is incredibly heavy. The colors of this room are red of the spilt blood that is pooling in the floor in strange arcane sigils, and blue of the electroplasmic lights that are hanging from the ceiling, and pale of the nearly dying body that is suspended from the ceiling in the center of this room with hooks in it and blood dripping off of it into the floor where it's pooling into these sigils. You're in some sort of ritual chamber and obviously the first smell that hits all of you is the like iron, metal, coppery smell of like fresh blood, and this kind of stinking human smell as though this person has been hanging here alive for multiple days.
That's their own problem.
What's going on here?
So, is there an exit out of this room?
This is the only door. There are no windows in this room either. If you want to describe the room more, there is a mirror at one end and a pedestal podium sort of thing with an open book.
All right.
You are not in a nice room.
All right.
How does one use flashbacks again?
You tell me what the flashback is, and it'll happen, and you will spend 0 to 2 stress depending on how complicated the flashback is.
Okay. I would like to, if there was a way we could have set it up to make it look like we escaped back up the chimney, so they might go chasing us outside instead of searching the rooms upstairs.
Yeah. So when you were climbing down, because you did really well, I can say you had some. So it's a very brief flashback. It's from like moments ago. But that is a fairly complex flashback. So I'm going to cost you 2 stress for that.
Okay.
Okay.
I think
if someone goes into that room, it'll be like, oh, they went up that way.
And I'm going to also do a quick flashback that when I reached over to whisper to the guy about like, oh, your job's good, you'll be able to go back and tell them everything's fine, I had reached over and grabbed the leftover satchel of the dust and kind of tucked it in his breast pocket, like, so maybe the evidence will point that he kind of was nipping at some drugs in the other room when he wasn't supposed to, instead of someone to him.
I'm gonna say that's a zero-cost flashback. Yeah,
just like, whoop.
He wasn't resisting.
Maybe they'll assume that he was like
druggy.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So you're plan A, I'm plan B.
Okay, so what are you doing in you're just gonna wait in this room until like the commotion dies down outside?
Shrike is obviously going to beeline for the book.
Yeah,
Okay.
Jacko's beelining for the book too.
So the book is in ancient Hadrathi, which is the language spoken in Eruvia. It is ancient, so it is very difficult to decipher right now, even by Magpie.
He's just putting it in his jacket.
Perfect.
Also turning the mirror around to face the wall.
Okay, so the book is very heavy. I'm gonna say if you take the book, you're gonna have to use up a load.
Okay.
Okay, so use up a load.
I mean, yeah, that's his whole thing, is he's obsessed with this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
How would that work? That would put me down to say that I'm a 6 instead of a 7.
So I would say just like mark off one of your arcane implements or something, just to show you're doing that. Okay. And then you all notice the blood starts to steam.
Oh, yes.
What's going on?
Do any of you know what's happening?
Say it again?
I just say to them, it's like, do you have any idea what's happening here?
Shrike reaches into like his jacket and pulls out his spirit mask, which is tooled to look kind of like the skull of a Corvid, and then puts it on his face and starts to kind of like try to attune to the room to see if he can see the flow of energy tapping into like the spiral networks of all the ley lines and the spiritual energy.
Yeah, I like that. So you don't have to make a roll because you use the equipment. So make me a mark of the spirit mask if you have that. All of you can feel, because all of you have some sort of attunement to the ghost field, right? So all of you can feel, something ghosty is happening, clearly. But with the spirit mask, you can see that there are like lines of electroplasmic sort of energy that's faint in the ghost field, so not visible in the meat space yet. Like pulling the like blood mist up and sort of into a like shape. And I am going to roll on my devils. Oh, by the way, the term devils in Duskwall refers to anything supernatural. Okay. Sometimes even whispers are called devils by people who don't know a lot about spectrology.
And there is something Shrike would do immediately when he saw this happening.
Yep.
He would immediately step forward and just slit the person's throat.
Okay, that's good. But first, I want Magpie and Raven roll me. Oh, actually, just Magpie. Roll me a d6.
Is it because I'm rolling terribly tonight?
No, it's a random roll. I'm looking at a table.
Man, we're at Devils already. This is
4.
How do you think we weren't going to be at double?
Okay, the Shrike can see the blood is like coalescing, but he can see the shape it's going to form because of the spectral lines of energy.
He's trying to like stop the energy source real quick.
Yeah, of course. But it is sort of forming the shape of a goat.
I'm sorry.
Like a big like a goat, right? Like a normal size goat.
The biggest, spookiest goat.
yeah.
And you,
Are we going to live deliciously now?
I hope so.
Maybe this could work. Live, please.
if this were D&D, advantage, inspiration.
Thou heist deliciously.
Yes.
People who play D&D with me know that I give inspiration for like bad jokes and puns. So
Hey, at least you give inspiration.
I am good for this game then.
okay, so you slit the throat, blood bursts out. First off, the blood hits you in the face, the arterial wound. The heart is still pumping. I want you to make me a resolve roll because none of you have ever slit someone's throat and have their arterial sprays like hit you right in the face.
How do you
So make me a resolve roll. That's adding up the leftmost column of resolve.
Okay.
Hey, something I'm decent at.
2 and a 6.
Oh.
Okay, so the six count. So normally, someone would be spooked out by this, but you're so focused on the task. You've dealt with blood before. You're like, just do this stupid thing, right? You cut the throat, and the blood starts evaporating faster. What you think you've done is you have reduced the potency of the thing that's going to be summoned. That's why it needs a long time to slowly build up energy, but you've definitely sped up the summoning of it. Okay? So all of you can now see this blood goat forming kind of beneath this dude. And you see it's like this, it's imagine a goat made of spider webs, right? Like thin strands of things, but the strands are blood, not spider web.
Oh man, Edie's not.
Except for the horns, right?
Oh.
The horns are coal black and on fire.
Ooh. All right.
And they're twisty and sexy like a satyr.
Not even looking at it. She has her eyes closed and she's holding like a spirit brain charm and just kind of like.
Oh no! Okay, all of you realize, because all of you have knowledge about this, this is not a demon nor a ghost. This is a horror. It's like using ghostly energy to make some sort of defensive thing, okay? Which is the only reason why you don't all have to make a resolve roll. Only one person has to make a resolve roll, and you guys get to decide which of you has the least experience with devils.
Oh.
I think it's probably Corbin.
Yeah.
Sorry, Corbin.
No, that's fine. Is it a what? Oh.
Probably.
Both of us are just like.
I guess my homeland might have given me some experience.
Oh yeah, true.
Oh, she's from. Edie's from here. This is not. Whatever. It's a devil.
Now you're Mistress Mind. You don't do demon stuff.
So
I find it. I get them to do stuff. I didn't expect to see one right away.
Say that again?
I didn't see. Oh.
No, go ahead.
Oh no, that doesn't like she just
Corbin,
didn't expect
finish.
to see one right off the bat. She's only seen like a ghost and it terrified her.
Right. So yeah. So make me a resolve roll.
Resolve.
And
Okay.
while that's happening, Shrike still has his mask on and still has been tuned to this. Is going to try to reach up and see if he can reach into the skeins and knots of ghostly blood energy and start applying the things that are binding this thing together.
Okay, this is going to be a desperate roll.
Oh yeah, let's do it.
Hard. It also, the effect is going to be limited unless you push yourself to increase the effect.
Okay. I made.
Is this a place where I would do a devil's bargain?
You could do a devil's bargain, but that'll be to get extra dice. Okay, but let's finish Shauna. What did you get, Shauna?
I got a 6, 3, and 2.
Yes.
Oh, okay, you got a 6. So you like clutch the charm you have.
Just like looking down and just.
It like digs into your like hand, but luckily there is the hand that is calloused from your cat burgling.
Yeah, it's
so you're like, oh, and you like start praying to whatever forgotten god was the church.
It's like it's the what was it, Church of the what was it, the Mexican flesh. It's just that she doesn't necessarily believe. It's just something you say like when there's like a ghost. It's just like
exactly. You're like, I reject the spirit. The spirit, the flesh is one. I should make up a prayer for them. That'll be really fun to do.
Yes.
Whoever makes up a prayer for them for next game gets an experience. Okay. Okay. So, Death Ration, what does it look like when you're trying to do this, Jordan?
So he reaches into his jacket and pulls out what looks like a pair of tailor shears, and immediately all the veins on his hands start to pulse black and stand up like almost like they're writhing below the surface of his skin. And then he's reaching in as if someone is on a loom, but he's like snipping a line of power here, tugging one here, and like undoing the things.
Okay, but like really, but normally you guys have also, Jackdaw, you work with Shrike a lot. Shrike is normally precise and can do things really well.
This is like their hands conducting, like he's half conducting a symphony, half like jerking under the under the sway of the occult energy that's guiding him.
Nice. So first, I'm guessing using a tune, right?
Yes, a tune.
Okay. So first, it's a desperate action. So mark a experience in that. So in
Resolve.
resolve, mark an experience. Okay. And this is gonna be so. If you push yourself, you will have standard effect. If you want to take a devil's bargain, you will have an extra die.
All right. So refresh me on how the devil bargains work.
So the devil's bargain, I will offer you a bargain. You can listen to the bargain first, and if you accept it, like it's a consequence in game, you will you will get the die, but you will take that bargain.
All right. So I am gonna.
And someone can also assist you for one stress. Maybe Raven, because
I would like to, yeah, because I can like hold the strands while he's using his shears, maybe.
Oh yeah, because your hands can touch ghost things. Yes,
Yeah,
perfect.
yeah.
I'll take
Nice.
the stress.
Okay,
So I'm gonna try to push it to make it standard, and then let's hear this.
So you would take 2 stress. So be careful how much stress you have.
One though, because he's helping.
No, you take 2 stress to take the bargain. Raven takes another stress, so you get 2 bonus dice.
Okay.
Okay.
And now let's hear the.
And then the devil's bargain is going to be, let's see. The devil's bargain is going to be you definitely are going to tick off 3 segments of Not So Dim because you're like messing with the security system of the house.
I mean, I kind of feel like this thing attacking us and going crazy is going to immediately set off everything. So yeah, I'm going to do it.
Okay.
I'm always fighting this thing.
So you have 2 segments left in Not So Dim. Okay, and now you have to roll and see if you're even successful. But you got you got 2 bonus dice. So,
all right. Yes. 2, 3, 6, 6.
whoa.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. My hair
critical,
starts going up like totally a cult floating in the air style.
critical. You do it with increased effect. So you quickly start pulling these things, and I'm gonna say that as you pull, you notice that the blood thing starts unraveling, and Raven, you literally dive in and like pull it apart. As Shrike like quickly untangles the pressure points of it, you jump in and.
And because I think I did these crits too, as I'm doing this, I'm pushing some of it into some of my vials.
Yeah, so you pick up some of this weird blood thing. And you notice now as you are taking someone asked a question. You do crits take off stress? It's only a resistance roll. Yep. Okay. You notice that as you are like doing this, that the guy who is now dead, who you killed, is let's see.
Is he a ghost? Because I got things to do with ghosts.
Shauna, tell me one of the members of the Red Sashes who you particularly like and who you had a lovely time with recently.
Oh no.
Oh no. Oh no.
Probably Arana, the just one of like the nobles that probably how we got introduced. So she's
It doesn't have to be your contact. It can be a made up.
Oh no. It's just like she's not the contact, but she's like the person that we may have like got in the door with, like I was been friendly with.
Okay, Arana.
Yeah.
A noble. So he's hanged. So many of the Red Sashes are children of Eruvian noblemen.
Mm-hmm.
So Arana is someone who hangs out with them and is kind of a member of the Noble Sashes. And you realize you couldn't in the weird blue light and blood and his emaciated body before. Didn't realize that poor Arana's son, who you have met before, is now lying dead with his throat slit by you guys in the Dimmer Sisters' house with his blood used for arcane ritual. Yep.
Oh.
So,
Well,
as do you communicate that to us?
Would the others know of Arana and his son? Maybe Magpie would know the son because Magpie knows rich and important people.
Oh,
Yeah.
boy.
Magpie and Corbin know who this is.
You just see her like just kind of like do that like.
Bad
Oh
news.
God.
That's unfortunate.
What?
It's Rana's son. You know our contact, one of our contacts in the Red Sashes.
Yes.
Well, we can actually. This could be good. And
How?
What world is this good?
she was on the edge of dead. If we bring back their ghost of this child to give back to his mother, at least they can put it into a hull or a body, and they can still continue. And so he like extends his spirit staff, which is like almost like one of those like collapsible batons, but it's his spirit hook, and tries to attune to grab the spirit, pin it, and put it into a ghost bottle.
Okay, so that mark off your spirit hook, and make me a risky roll.
Can I assist with this as well? Like just
What's
like
that?
can Raven assist with this as well? Because it.
I'm going to say that this is not the same, and you kind of sit in the same way. You can try to sit a different way, but it isn't like a brute force. This is like collecting carefully the spirit of the recently dead.
Cool.
So I just make a straight attune, and it's just risky.
It's risky. If anyone wants to help, or if you want to push yourself, that's a thing. Jackdaw, you want to help?
I can probably help. We've probably done this a bunch of times.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you collect spirits for your things a lot. Yeah, perfect.
So Jackdaw's like holding the bottle while I'm like guiding it into the bottle.
Okay. A spirit bottle. Did any of you have spirit bottle in your inventory? Because you might have to mark that off. So you mark that off.
I already marked it off. Yeah.
Okay, so spirit bottle and the spirit hook. Okay. A spirit bottle is a glass sort of tube with like metal wiring all the way through it and like some mechanism. It's not just imagine like a Ghostbusters trap. It's a bit more not like that, but it's more high tech than just a bottle.
Like Tesla coily around it.
Exactly. Yeah. So it starts powering up. It's about like this big. And make me a roll.
So they are helping me, so I get an extra dice.
One extra die, and Jackdaw takes one stress.
Yep. Already marked it.
3, 4, 5.
Okay, so you get a 5. Okay, you manage to trap this spirit, so make a note that you have the spirit of Arana's son in your spirit bottle. Yeah. Magpie?
It won't go mad, so
yes.
I mean that's good.
It won't go mad yet.
It takes several days for it to go mad.
Yeah, it'll take a while for it to go mad, like a few days.
And we're gonna take this right back to the Red Sashes and
Of course.
and spin the story a little. That we stopped it from completely consuming the soul.
Yeah, consuming the soul is still safe, but he's.
Your consequence. Let me see. Okay, consequence. The consequence, which you can remember, you can reduce all consequences by taking stress by making the roll, the saving throw.
I don't think you need to take any more stress right now.
Okay, because you don't take a stress, you actually take harm.
Oh,
okay.
I'm gonna say while you're wrangling this ghost, like it manages to brush against you at some point and like leech away its energy. So I'm gonna say you take a level 1 harm called drained.
Okay.
Okay. If you want to take harm and that level is full,
level 1.
Yeah, if you want to take harm and that level is full, it has to go the next level. If you're gonna take level 4 harm, that's like death. Also, level 1 means you take a -1 die, right? Is this -1 D next to it?
It just says less effect. The minus D is a second level.
That means if I deem that drained is applicable in a certain situation, it will have less effect.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
So
I feel like I've done enough shit in this like 10-15 minutes to be a little drained.
been a hell of a 10.
It's been because this is probably like 10-15 minutes of like heist time that we're just like falling into the shit.
I had something I wanted to do, depending on how closely I look to like a Ruby and Sun, maybe using my makeup kit as well. if he's still wearing his clothing that kind of makes him look like
He is
him.
naked.
Oh, he's naked? He doesn't have any clothing on him?
He's been here for like 3 days, like being sacrificed. Yeah, he is not wearing any clothes.
In his possessions aren't like in a chest in the room somewhere?
You know what? Sure. His items are actually in its own ritual circle, piled in this like specific way.
Okay. I'm going to take his clothing soaking in blood and change into them, and kind of give myself a bit of a quick rendition to make myself appear more devilish or undead-like. And I also I'm looking for some kind of some like noble sigil or some kind of physical identifier that
he has a signet.
A signet ring, yeah, or something.
Yeah, so you put it on. Okay, so we'll make the roll when it comes into play, but because you have the disguise on, it will have a higher effect.
Oh,
And Shrike is gonna see what you're doing and walk over, kind of rubbing his hands together, like generating static electricity, and kind of just tap the sides of your clothes and see if he can like give you a faint sheen aura of like ghost energy. That's kind of kind of like static electricity ghost around your clothing. Yes. So that you have like a little bit of electroplasm aura a ghost would have.
I shiver unconsciously. It's like, warn me before you do that.
Awesome.
What?
Okay, so now you are in a room with a corpse of a friend with his spirit in a bottle, wearing his clothes, soaked in his blood. Magpie, I would normally make you do a resolve roll, but I have a feeling you've worn bloody clothing from other people before.
That'll do a lot of
because you're the slide. If the others did it, they might have to be like, I'm wearing my friend's blood right now.
I kind of feel like this kind of weird shit is par for the course for us.
That is true though. I mean, also like, yeah, one of you is in the military. One of you had done weird surgery on herself. Yeah.
This isn't the blood goat, so this is slightly better.
Blood goat.
I feel like this is still better than having summoned.
I want blood goat to be a thing now, like a mascot or something. Blood goat. Okay.
The next crew.
So yeah, you spent all this time in this room. What are you doing now?
Is the coast clear?
Is it?
I look at the little map and see where people are.
You see, so that thing of the map, because of standard effect, was only for that moment. The
Okay.
great effect would have been maybe continuous.
Can I?
So you're in the room. You can open the door. Remember.
Yeah. It's kind
Can
of
I
crack the door.
listen and see if there's if I can hear the automaton again?
You can hear nothing outside at all because the walls and doors are really thick. Remember.
This is like a soundproof torture room.
Soundproof ritual chamber.
fun.
Okay.
You don't want to have to hear him because he probably screamed for a continuous 2 hours until his lungs gave out.
Sure.
We need to move. We do not have a lot of time, and they're probably already suspicious.
Is that it? I'm pointing at the book. Is that what we came here for?
No.
It is not. Clearly not.
Okay.
No.
Not rescue
It is a book. Maybe it's about arcane stuff, but the book does not have an arcane feel to it.
We still have a job. We're in here.
Yes.
Drop down to the temple, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's where it is. Okay, well, let's move. Beating up on the automaton right now.
Okay, so you do you want to quickly rush open the door and run out, or are you like opening it a crack, or what are you doing? Jackdaw.
I would like to at least check and see if the coast is clear before rushing out.
Great. So you do that, and you see there's no one in the corridors. If you rushed out, you would have made some noise, but because you like look and stuff, there isn't that much. You managed to sneak out. No roll. Sorry, you raise your hand, Jackdaw?
I'm just saying, just gesturing to everyone to move.
Oh, perfect. Okay. So I'm gonna say you managed to do that because you had your clever auction idea. There aren't a lot of servants around. There are like a couple, and you met one of them. The other one are doing other things. And in fact, as you know, these people don't really use human guards much.
Before we, I'd like just to mention to people before we left the room, I'm going to take up the rear. In the case of which we are discovered on and have to make a run for it, we can pretend that I'm actually like this person's devil form, and you guys they'll focus more on me as the danger, and you guys can probably make a cleaner getaway.
I love that. Okay, I love that.
All right.
So when I ask you the question at the end of the heist, did you live up to your reputation of being weird? You can say yeah.
All of us.
Oh, 100%.
This is like 6 heists in stuff that we're doing. This is like
Yeah.
We may have made a grievous error when starting out. It's fine.
I call it a Tuesday.
So with the help of the blueprint that you have, you manage to. Oh, you also notice like dents in the stairs, as though some heavy footprint.
Yeah.
Right.
And Shrike sees this and kind of like steps aside and lets Raven go first.
So,
And yeah, so you rush down.
Carefully rush.
You carefully rush down. Yep, it's definitely rush down. You like find this area where there's like weird trap door that you like pull open, and there's like this spiral stone staircase leading down. The stone, it's very dark, it's like pitch black, so you have to turn on your hand lamps that you have. Which it doesn't cost load because everyone carries hand lamps around. You notice the stones themselves are very, very intricately carved with like religious sort of imagery of a forgotten god, stuff that you don't really know. Like incredibly detailed, fine, deep incisions for this. Great. And as you walk down the stairs, you walk into the colors of now, so you remember how before the green was comforting? It reminded you of Magpie. Now the walls have this green ooze on them that's like sickly and like makes you think of disease. So that's one of the main colors. And also, it's like there's this like malevolent orange as the like lamplight that you're holding is flickering throughout this, like you're walking in this long carved corridor, and as you walk the corridor, we will take a bio break for everyone.
And I just want to say one last thing as we go. Like everyone probably looks pretty tense, but if anyone looked over at Shrike, he just looks really stoked about what's going on.
A little exhausted, but stoked.
He's exhausted, but he's also like has that fire in his eyes. Like this is the shit he's here for.
Magpie's trying not to scratch his nose.
Question to calibrate: are we doing okay with the game? Is the tone good? Are we did we hit any of those
It's
triggers?
great. This is like a current
I
fire.
failed so many times.
Yeah, this is
That's
awesome.
what's so cool about Blades is like it lets you kind of like turn failures into like interesting moments too.
Yeah. And so the penalties, of course, you take like lots of stress and things, which you have to deal with later, but you can still be successful.
And you get to get rid of those and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. So let's take a quick, it is 9:01. Let's take a 9:06 break.
Hey everybody. So this is Grant. You should be able to hear my voice. And I'm putting them on mute on my end. Hope you all can hear me okay. I see my levels. So how are you all enjoying the show? I might even be able to get my camera up on screen. Judd, hey! It's good to see you! My grappling game designing buddy. So I really appreciate everybody coming out. I appreciate you supporting the show. I've run a Patreon that I use to put together these shows and to take care of the cast. I use it to help subsidize my ability to create artwork. If you like things like our intro video and the overlay, those are things that I put together. I put them together for this show and the other shows on WebDM. I'm the producer. I might be able to get myself on stream. Let's see if I can add a camera. Whoo boy. All right, gonna try to add a capture device. Let's see if I can add a little HD camera. And that yeah, that's woo. Let me set this up. So they're gonna be back in just a minute. They're just they got about three more minutes. And I've got it. It's gonna be dark. But very appropriate. So really appreciate chat being so helpful with the rules tonight. It's definitely... Alright, let's see. Can get me coming up. There I am! I'm on the stream. So, when I'm producing, I produce in the dark. And if I look tired, I'm very tired. I have a Kickstarter launching tomorrow that I'm not allowed to officially announce just yet. But, we're getting ready to get back into this in just a minute. So, let me let them know. It's Grand Ellis After Dark. I used to do game design streams of that nature and sort, where it was just me and the camera, and I would design something for tabletop role-playing games, and the audience could participate. But now let's get back in. I'm gonna fire up the jets on those individuals, and let's do this. Let's do this. In 3, 2, 1, and blast off.
And back, and we are bio-broken. That doesn't sound good. Bio-braked. Awesome. So, we last saw you. The scene was sickly green and malevolent orange. You are walking in a corridor covered in carvings of weird religious practices about one of the forgotten gods. If you want to look at that, tell me, and I will randomly generate a forgotten god for you.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
I want to look at that. Heck yeah.
strike with
Sure,
death.
I get to use
mental notes.
John Harper's cool random tables again. Okay, so let's see. Jackdaw, roll me a d6. Magpie, roll me a d6.
All right.
Oof.
Got 1.
1.
And 1. Oh, cool. So 11. Let me pull up the right page.
Low rollers of the party.
I don't know what's wrong with me today.
Okay, 11. The forgotten god's name is the One Within Many. So I'll make a note of this, as this is the forgotten god that the Dimmer sisters are associated with. Dimmer sisters. One thing I like about this game is I have to do a lot of prep. You know, like we make a lot of this stuff on the fly. And I like that. Okay.
That's
Raven,
also probably some important information we can sell to the information broker.
maybe.
Yeah.
Raven, make me a d6 roll, and Corbin, make me a d6 roll.
2.
2. Okay, and Corbin?
5.
Okay, so one of the cult practices of this forgotten god that you can tell from this imagery is that people have group visions or dream quests via essences, drugs, and deep meditation.
Nice.
So that's one of the practices that is done to worship the one within many. Maybe because they want to become the many within the one when they're in their weird trance state. Oh my god, I did that myself. I'm so smart.
That might explain why the Red Sashes are interested, if there might be drugs involved with getting this high.
Totally planned this,
state.
right?
Yeah, I mean, that's all that pre-writing you did.
Yeah. So remember, that's a very good point, Magpie, because the Red Sashes do own a number of drug dens in Crow's Foot. So maybe they're interested in like doing something with that. Awesome. Corbin, you know that I mean, this is not common knowledge, but you know because you're a mistress mind, and you've been doing research about the Dimmer sisters, that you've noticed they've been buying a lot of like spirit essences and things like that, and they've been hiring a lot of the spirit traffickers who work for other people. Normally, they've been like, trying to like poach them and stuff recently. That's something that's been happening. So you've just heard that, you know, dans le vent kind of thing.
Yeah.
Awesome. So you are walking in this corridor. It's like curving continuously, like one big like ring kind of thing. And you are following the blueprints, which you don't really have to. It's one corridor. And you open up in this sort of like antechamber. Okay, it's like it seems like you'd expect like a forgotten temple to be like dusty and whatever, but this one's clearly not. It's like clean and stuff. It's a small sort of antechamber. There are some like statues on different sides of like people, but without faces. Like one or two of them have the faces been broken off, but like 3 or 4 of them have blank faces. Okay, even though the rest of the body is very, very intricately detailed. Made of stone. And that's basically all that's in this room. There's like a double door. If you play fantasy RPGs, double doors.
Are there like the same dinty footprints that we saw on the stairs leading to these statues?
The ground here is stone and not wood, so you don't know if that being would even have made those footprints here. Okay. You do know that the floors aren't like dusty, that footprints will. They're like, yeah, there are lots of as though people travel here a decent amount.
So Strike immediately kind of like holds his hand up like in like a symbol like this, or everyone just to freeze for a second, and pulls his chalk out and like draws a little sigil on the floor next to him, and puts his hand down into it, and then like is trying to force the energy out into the room all on the floor to see if there are any pre-set up lines of arcane energy going to these statues.
Okay. Without even making a roll, you literally just trigger the trap sort of thing. It's not really a trap, but
okay, I was like, I was searching.
you send out, you attune, and the thing that would have happened like happens. Not you don't like but what happens is from the like double door in front of you, you definitely see. All of you can see this. Let's see. The spirit, the ghost field starts to coalesce as a ghost starts to form. And all of you except Shrike will make me a resolve roll. Because even if you're kind of used to it, it's always kind of unsettling when a ghost like materializes in front of you.
So what I attempted to do just totally failed, and this happened instead.
I'm going to say it sort of happened. You did detect it and also activate it. However, it didn't activate it in a way that's immediately going to attack you. It just activated, so you can deal with it however you want to deal with it.
Shrike was kind of wondering if these things were automatons, and he was
not at all. This is the arcane thing in this room. What is happening
okay,
now?
Is this ghost? Okay.
It's this ghost. It is because you didn't activate it like a trap, it's just gonna appear and you have to deal with it. But whenever a ghost appears, all of you are scared. That happens.
Yeah.
Except for Shrike.
Roll.
All right, I'm gonna push myself for this one.
All right. Resolve.
What'd you get, guy, folks?
I got a 5.
Got a big old
5.
4.
4.
Oh, thank God. 6, 5, and 4.
6.
There we go. Oh no. 3.
3 is high. Okay, so who got 4s and 5s? If you got a 4 and a 5, you kind of like freeze in place. You're like, oh no. If you got a 6, you're like, you know what? I just saw a stupid blood flaming ram. This thing is nothing compared to that.
I think her thing is like she's like Shrike, Jackdaw, Raven, anyone else. That's their stuff. I'm just gonna hold this charm and look down and not look at it.
Like I'm not gonna look at this thing.
There's nothing I can do with this thing if it comes after me.
Raven, this is interesting. So you are used to ghosts, right? In a way, you have fought
like a ghost charm, right?
Yeah, you know something about it. However, there's something about this ghost that is particularly unsettling to you. Tell me what.
I think it's like, this house is just, there's been something creepy about it all night. And we've run into like problems and hiccups, and trouble. And it's just like one setback after another. And he has this like brief flashback of the first time he raided an old tomb out in the Deadlands with his dad. And it's just like triggers that memory. And he momentarily like freezes as, he's all these other things are going on, and he has this like.
Yeah. So I'm gonna say if the Magpie and Jackdaw can't really act at this, or actually if they try and act, they'll take like a penalty. Raven can't react immediately to this thing because you're very scared. Okay, the others can react. Shrike's fine. Yeah. Corbin is like not paying attention, not paying attention, not paying attention. Awesome. So this coalesces into a ghost of what actually looks like a man on a horse. Wearing the ceremonial armor of a Skovland like fighting unit. And it opens its mouth, and you'd expect like a human whale to come out, this like raspy opposite of a scream comes out as though someone's sucking in air. And it like points like kind of like that. And Raven, what would a traditional weapon be of a Skovland?
So like a spear with like a horse tail tassel on the end of it.
Yeah, it's exactly that. It's a horse spear, and this spear has like a halberd kind of end to it as well, to like hit other horses as well and stuff. Okay, so it's just standing there pointing this thing at you. What are you guys trying to do or gonna do?
So it's obviously it's antagonistic, correct? Is like what the sense we're
it's
getting
just
from it.
standing there pointing the thing at you. Also, don't forget your playbook powers. You all have powers. I know you haven't really using them.
So I'm gonna do a flashback to where before we came on this, we discussed certain plays we would do, and we could just like call out a certain name, and that we know exactly what we should be doing.
Yeah.
So Murder 4 was that Raven would come behind a ghost and hold it in place while Shrike uses his spirit hook and at the same time tosses over another spirit vial, a ghost bottle, to Jackdaw.
Okay, so you yell Murder 4.
No, I'm going to say possible Murder 4 as I work forwards, trying to make it gently go back into the ghost field.
Okay, so
I'm telling everyone, get ready for maybe a Murder 4.
Yeah, expecting Raven to like burst into action, but Raven is just standing there, this cold sweat running down his face. His muscles are like kind of shaking, and he's like.
I wasn't telling him to do it yet. I was saying get ready for this.
Yeah, he does not. In this case, Raven does not even hear you.
Come on, Raven.
He's like, you just maybe his left hand, he's reaching for something, but like otherwise he's sweats and
yeah. So
Jackdaw is sort of in a similar position, not as bad, but she's like scared.
All right, so
Jackdaw wants to say something. It looks like Jackdaw wants to say something.
Oh, I was gonna say I have the ability to reckon area to make it either anathema or enticing to a ghost, so I can just. I'm scared, so I don't know how much I can do, but I was like, cool, I'll just start wrecking things to make it.
You can do that now. I'm gonna say the scared will just mean you have to take 2 stress to do the action.
I can take that.
There's the rule that sometimes you have to push yourself to even do an action. But because you're scared of this, like Raven finds it hard to push himself at all unless he takes a resistance roll. But you can just push yourself and do the action if that's what you guys want to do. Because you have.
I think that would be up to Jackdaw to decide on their own without us discussing it with them. That'd be if they decided to do that.
Okay, yeah. Do you want to just do that, Jackdaw? While Shrike is kind of getting into position, but Jackdaw, you can just do your thing.
Yes, Shrike is slowly walking towards the ghost.
Yeah.
Kind of reaching out.
If I see Raven not reacting, I'm just gonna be like, yeah, nope, Murder 4 ain't working.
Jackdaw.
Murder 4 ain't happening.
Awesome. So describe. So that's the thing. Is this alchemical? Is this electrospark? What kind of thing do you do? Because wreck will mean you do cause damage and some chaos in this space.
Out of the corner of his eye, Shrike sees this and he breathes to himself, guys, we practiced.
Okay.
Wasn't working.
One thing is that Corbin can help you because Corbin is like kind of fine.
I
Alright,
think our thing is like I'm just kind of like support on it. I'm taking out like implements that I was clearly given to like help you with.
Yeah, perfect.
I've got a couple of arcane implements on me, so I'm just taking those and just like, okay, scatter this around there.
Yep.
We'll just push one of the statues over.
Great. Okay, so describe something a little more flashy because this is one of your flashy powers, right? It's not just a pure ritual. It's like it's a little flashy. It's like explosive or something. Describe something cool.
I have, or with Edie's help, I start lining like crumpled or crushed powder around the room. It's like if it's like iridescent, almost sort of bluish and greenish, opalescent.
Yeah, ooh, mother of pearl kind of, yeah.
Yeah, with my metal hand, I sort of snap my finger so there's a spark and send it just circling around the room.
Okay, so you're being helped by Corbin. So Corbin, take 1 stress.
Okay.
Jackdaw, clearly this is wreck. That's what you're doing. It even says when you wreck.
Actually, can I use one of my implements for that with that? One of my load?
Which one?
Arcane implements.
I'm going to say since Jackdaw is already using our arcane implement, the second set doesn't really help.
All right, sure.
That's something more specific.
Yes. All right, cool.
Okay, so Jackdaw, what is your rec?
Well, it's just more of what is the position?
Oh, so the position, I'm going to say this is kind of desperate.
Okay.
Your murder force, like, oh no, you know? So it's kind of desperate. So mark an experience.
XP, yes.
In prowess?
Well, rec is in prowess, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so mark an experience in prowess. And it's going to be a standard effect because it's a normal thing. It's going to happen. So you can you've already pushed yourself, but that was just to act. So you can take a devil's bargain to get an extra die if you want.
How much for devil's bargain? Is it extra stress or is it an effect?
Your devil's bargain is going to be, I'm going to fill up not so dim.
No.
Nope, we're not doing that. We're not doing that.
It's spicy.
I looked around the table. I saw everyone's faces, and I said,
no. Maybe you had brought out this really loud thing that you were going to blow up, and we all were like, no.
That was all of our reactions, I think, in things like.
I'm good at exactly 2 things, and one of them is breaking things.
Okay, so roll your rec plus 1 die for Corbin helping you. Corbin is good at help. She's always prepared with some things to help everyone. This kind of implement. In fact, there's a spider power which says she can help people without taking stress.
That's a good one.
Okay.
Okay, so
it's a 6-2-2. So there's a 6.
Okay, on a desperate 6, you do it. So it just happens. So the thing ignites. Now, you remember I said there was this weird slime on the walls, right?
Yeah.
The green slime clearly is producing some kind of strange gas because the flame burns blue, like the cerulean blue that you're used to, but it's tinged with this weird pink, and you hear like an explosive sort of noise that instead of sounding like an explosion, sounds like the sound of fingernails on a chalkboard. But imagine all at once like an explosion of that. And all of you, because this affects spirits, right? All of you have a spirit inside your body. So for an instant, at your core, you feel like for a sec that you're like weightless and bodiless and like, but then that snaps back. And now this room is like you all close your eyes, with this explosion, you open your eyes, all the statues in this room have turned to powder. The carvings on the walls have kind of as though like someone took a big metal scraper and scraped at them. The double doors are like the carving, the double doors, same thing, are like kind of gone. And the ghost is nowhere to be seen. And for a little while, it'll be difficult for any ghost to enter this area.
Nice.
Frank looks over at
Everything is like rimmed in this like pinky sort of fairy fire sort of glow.
My ears are ringing.
Frank looks over at Jackdaw and goes, "Yeah."
I don't know, wasn't working.
How loud was that?
It was supposed to be murder 4.
I don't kill horse ghosts.
Oh my god.
We weren't gonna kill it. We were gonna trap it.
No horse ghosts, no.
Someone asked how loud was that? Because you rolled a 6, it was loud in the immediate vicinity, but the sound didn't carry out too much.
You said explosion.
Spiritual noise too, more than an actual noise.
Of course, spiritual noise may be more of a problem in this house.
I'm down to shut up.
Right?
Jackdaw, you look to your side and you see like a bloody demon Eruvian giving you 2 thumbs up.
Is there anything left of the ghost?
No, it is not to be seen.
Shrike flips open his little notebook that he always has in his breast pocket, and there's like 2 columns, and one says Jackdaw, one says Shrike, and he like puts one in the Jackdaw column and into his pocket.
Awesome. Raven,
right before scooping up some of that like ghost dead statue powder and putting it in his pocket.
Nice.
So Jordan, you should actually make a note of it. You should actually make that like somewhere on your sheet. That'd be really funny. Okay, so the fear effects have all gone. So that's fine. But Raven, how do you feel about seeing this strange ghost and now it's no longer there and stuff?
I mean, like it really does wig him out. Like he had that flashback and see, it's the horse more than anything. Like he didn't see that many horses
that you've seen here.
Yeah, he has there's like a hole in his soul because he's like doesn't get to ride. And so seeing it just like hits him right in a really vulnerable spot, and he doesn't like being that vulnerable in front of his crew. So he like goes and stands where the ghost was and utters a like a folksy wisdom in Sevrosi before turning back around. And you saw that he had a vial of rage essence. That's what he was reaching for. I have no idea what anger would allow him to overcome the fear.
Edie, Corbin, how does all this ghostliness affect you?
No, it's bad. It's been a bad night. This is the most she's ever seen. And then, like, on top of it off, like, she kind of vaguely felt her soul getting ripped out for a split second. This
awesome.
This is worth it. We got a lot of stuff. Hopefully it's worth it.
Magpie, you're used to talking your way out of trouble. How is this night going for you?
Magpie sidles up to Corbin and's like, I vote next time we go to a party.
Something,
with people.
So you're that ghost, there is a double door.
Normal.
And Shrike was like, no, this is great.
Magpie just like gestures to himself.
And Shrike like misinterprets it and goes, yeah.
You can just like see like
awesome.
the cane that like the arm that the cane's holding just kind of shaking a little bit, just like she is resisting any instinct to just like run out of this house.
I try to give a reassuring pat on the shoulder to both Corbin and Raven, but it's with the metal arm, so it's not great.
Yeah.
It's like a little heavier.
Heavy. Okay. Question: is it like a clunky heavy, or is it like slender? Is it like imagine like Wolverine claws versus Lady Deathstrike claws? Like, are they slender and strong or heavy and?
It is this. She herself it matches her build, so it's not like super bulky, but it's not like super refined or super nice. It's sort of, she's working on making it better, so it's a little bit on the clunkier side, but she's always upgrading it.
Nice, awesome, yeah, and it's very. If audience want to imagine it, because we're in Duskwall, it's very like steampunky, but there's weird blue electroplasm flowing through like things. So yeah, it's.
I might have tampered with a ghost.
Terminator arm.
What was that?
Like a steampunky Terminator arm, kind of.
Sort of, yeah. Okay, so you have a set of double doors in front of you. Do you want to go through? Do you want to peek through it? What do you guys want to do?
Peek.
Yeah, at this point, Raven is gonna like take off his coat for a minute. In a pocket, like on the back flap, that's where he's been stashing his fine heavy weapon as he assembles his spear because we are tired of whoever's in here. And I'm going to use up my last 2 inventory slots for a fine heavy weapon.
Okay. And so interestingly, these doors are very thick, but they're very well balanced. So as you push it, it just pushes, without much resistance. And you peek through, and it opens into this big ceremonial chamber that you can't tell a lot. The colors of this chamber are gold and gold and gold and gold, as there's gold paneling everywhere and a huge fire in the middle. And so all you see is gold. And there are 2 figures in this room that are both tall. One of them is wearing roby things, and one of them is not. But that's all you can tell by just peeking through the door at Raven. And they seem to be focused on something in the middle of the room. And the fire, I'm going to say, is at the end of the room in a big brazier.
Do we see the wrapped object that we've been looking for?
You can't tell because you're looking through a crack. But the 2 of them are poor, they're. I'm going to say, yeah, they're kind of slightly bent. They're looking at some object in the middle of the room.
They look human.
They look humanoid, yeah.
Would it be possible to sneak inside without alerting them?
So the doors are, like I said, very well balanced. So they don't make a lot of noise when you push them and stuff. They surprisingly, they're so heavy still, but as you push them, whoop, they could swing.
I'm going to gather a bunch of that powdered statue into a bag of some kind.
Okay.
So I have a big bag of powder.
Of powdered ancient relic statue archaeological destruction.
Mm-hmm. The best high. No.
Here is some powdered archaeology.
I'm not going to say Jack that would be into that, but I'm also not denying it.
So, assuming Raven tells us all this, Magpie will go as the most tactical person who's used to life and death combat. Do you think we should just go for it?
Yeah. Anything overwhelming force is the best answer, usually. There's only 2 of them.
Okay. I might have a decent opener then in that regard.
So
given
also sorry?
Oh, just then he gestures to, I have my ability of Cloak and Dagger allows me to gain initiative in combat when I reveal I'm not actually.
Yeah, so this is interesting, right? Because if you do show of force, assuming that the people in here are related to the Dimmer sisters, and even if you get out, that will be a -1 penalty on your reputation, which will
leave them alive.
What was that?
If we leave them alive.
If you don't leave them alive, there are other Dimmer sisters who know what's going on.
They know who did it.
I'm wondering if I could blind them with the powder.
That's another thing.
Seeming as the demon.
And so Magpie right now looks like a weird zombie.
Oh, yeah. So if they just see me and I blind them before they can see all of you and we take them out, that might work.
Yeah, because you're going to have that split second before they figure out you're not actually a ghost.
Yes. Anything to swing.
Well, right now you don't look like a ghost. You look like a hollow, right? Which is a corpse without a spirit.
Yeah.
So Magpie, do you want to sneak in?
No, this is me presenting a plan because we also have people who might have more arcane tricks that they might want to try.
But if you take too long planning, they will be done studying the thing they're studying.
Okay.
I like your plan.
Time for one idea.
You go right, you go left.
Okay, we all sneak in first, and then I come out screaming. Assuming since they didn't hear through the doors, they're probably mostly soundproof.
So I was kind of
okay.
We would sneak to the left while he kind of goes to the right to catch their attention even more.
Okay, I'm going to ignore the roll for the sneaking. Let's say you manage to all sneak in, whatever. What's interesting right now is Magpie's weird distraction. Yeah. More interesting action going on. And I'm going to say part of Magpie's initiative thing is, you can all just sneak in and get into position. Great. That's Magpie's disguise initiative power. Okay, so what are you doing, Magpie?
Well,
Describe physically what happens. You're in this big. Okay, so describe it. You're in this big antechamber. This big ceremony chamber. By big, I don't mean vast. I just mean not small. Because it's still dusk walled and not that much underground space around, right? There's a brazier at one end. There's clearly an altar-like thing in the middle, on which you can now see is a lot of red cloth. And on the red cloth is a weird hunk of black stone.
That's probably
There's
what
this
we're
weird
after.
hunk of black stone on it. And these two figures are looking, and one figure is tall and dressed in a pale lace dress and is wearing a lot of jewelry. The other figure is wearing a nun's habit. And you recognize immediately who the other figure is. This is the rival you have in the Church of the Ecstasy of the Flesh.
Oh.
Who has that rival? Jackdaw?
That would be me.
What's her name again?
Oh boy, what was it? Let me find it. Melissa, a priestess.
So Melissa, she is a priestess of a powerful faction. Remember early on you got some information about someone wanting to buy it that you didn't know who it was, but it wasn't one of the gangs. Maybe you can assume this is her. Why is she here before the sale? Because the sale is supposed to be like tomorrow. You don't know. But she is here, and she is clearly looking very carefully at this thing and in deep discussion with the woman. None of you are close enough to study really the object unless you take the study sort of action.
No, I think we're just gonna we assume, at least Shrike assumes that this is what we're here for.
Mm-hmm.
You do see the red cloth,
Yeah.
and there's like something there.
Okay, that sounds. Yep.
Okay. So my plan is, can I say I have demolition tools? And I'm going to take as much powder and compact it and put it at the hems of the outfit. So I'm going to kind of appear in the background like I just entered the room, and like if they see me, they won't immediately recognize me as Magpie.
Now, because you have the initiative thing, they're just deeply poring over the object.
I'm going to maybe they'll notice me and they'll see like this kind of hollow looking guy who's dressed as the person. One of them, I'm assuming, would know is upstairs. I'm going to try letting out the most weird, unearthly scream I can as I rush them. And as I do, I'm going to set off the demolitions at the hem of my cloak and as I close in, make this huge dust cloud around me. So it should obfuscate everything around me and hopefully hide their vision from everyone else that they could.
What is this duck thing we're doing?
Everything for the character.
So proud.
Oh my god. Okay. First off, what action is this, do you think?
This would be I'm hoping me trying to sway them with all my preparations, me trying to change my voice to modulate what a hollow might sound like, my unearthly walking and stature, and this kind of ghostly mist-like effect as I rush into their midst.
Yeah, I think if you use sway, your effect will be standard. Great. However, this is clearly a desperate action.
Yeah. I can push myself. The market
experience in that field, which sway is it?
So mark a resolve and sway.
Perfect. And if you want to push yourself for effect, you can make this great effect because it is a wild thing you're doing.
It's worth it. I'll push myself.
Okay, so take 2 stress. Is anyone directly helping Magpie? And take 1 stress.
I could have helped put with the demolition tools and help assemble it before we went into the room.
Yeah, Jackdaw.
Yeah, great. Because you're a demolisher. Perfect. Yeah, that's what you do.
So what does the help do again?
1 extra die.
Okay.
And if you want to take a devil's bargain, I will give you an extra die.
So I can refuse it though, right? After hearing it?
So the devil's bargain is, excuse me, the devil's bargain. So normally, if you push yourself for a die, you can't also take a devil's bargain. Because you push yourself for effect, you can take the devil's bargain, right?
Okay.
So the Devil's Bargain. So this is going to be a more long-term one. It's not a heist-related one. The Devil's Bargain is going to be. This is interesting. I'm gonna say that because of like all the stuff you're doing and the children you contacted to do this, and like the sleep powder you put on the person, the Devil's Bargain is gonna be you're gonna take 2 extra heat at the end of this heist.
I'm not entirely sure how bad heat is, but it looks like my crew's willing to take it.
It's
So
fine because we can diffuse heat.
Fuck it.
okay, yeah, we'll add that extra dice.
Do it.
Send someone to jail and diffuse heat.
Are we a gang of
Or you
thieves
can reduce heat.
in a city full of ghost energy or not?
I have 2 sway. I taking a Devil's Bargain. I'm getting assistance from Jackdaw,
So that's
and
4?
Cloak and Dagger gives me an extra dice when I confuse or deflect suspicion.
Really nice.
Yes.
Okay, 5 dice. So
Okay.
5 dice. Your effect, if you succeed, is going to be great. Your position is desperate. So if you fail, that's going to be bad.
Oh, I've been rolling so bad. Give me this.
Come on,
Give me this.
come on, Magpie, pull
You
through.
can resist. It's okay if it. Don't worry.
So
Okay,
you
okay.
know the desperate the outcome if you fail, or even if you get a mixed success, you just set explosives on yourself.
Yeah, but luckily I got a 2, a 5, a 5, a 5, and a 6.
Ooh!
Nice.
Okay, so you get a 6. You do it, and your effect is gonna be great. So I want you to describe kind of what happens.
So he kind of thinks back into all the crazy stuff he's had to do. He's dressed as other people. He's snuck into parties. He's pretended to be beggars. He's gotten violently ill just to fit these characters he has to play in order to do. But in his mind, it's always adjusting the situation to match the truth that he wants to tell.
Yeah.
So in this case, it's no different. And he maybe doesn't realize how serious it is to strap bombs to his coat. He'll probably figure that out later.
That doll, she knows what she's doing, right?
Yeah. So he every time they hit a cue he's expecting, when he moans and they look at him and look surprised or horrified or confused about aren't you supposed to be upstairs, that's another cue. He starts storming at them, they look worried, that's another cue. And when he closes it and the bombs go off and he hears everyone around him, their weapons being drawn, them running quickly to follow up, it's just like, yes, the scene is going exactly how I want it.
Nice. So these like explosions of cloud and dust and weird stuff happen. The 2 of them are blinded, and they start screaming. The nun, who is not a fighter scoundrel person, she is a nun. She like falls over and starts yelling, and she like tries to crawl away. This is clearly what's her name? This is not Ira. This is the other one.
Rosalind?
Rosalind, yeah, Rosalind. She like screams, I think, but you had a great effect, so she's very blinded. Who is grabbing the object?
I was gonna do it if,
Okay, yeah.
or it was gonna be us 2 probably because we're the weird ones.
Great.
I think like Shrike is wraps it and gives it to you. Like he's making sure that the folds are done correctly for this arcane wrapping. And while he was doing this, he kind of like murders only to himself. But as he saw Magpie do, he goes, "Oh yeah, murder 12," and then like wraps it.
This is actually important. You might think this is a weird thing to roll for, but I want you to roll because this is A, there's chaos going on. B, it's an arcane artifact. Roll to wrap it without activating it.
Oh yeah, totally. And Shrike is assuming that like that Raven is going in hot with the weapon and stuff, so that they're going around.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna roll like a tune, basically.
Yeah, I think me and Raven are gonna knock this out.
What are you doing? Are you attuning to it to try and calm it down? Are you quickly trying to wrap it?
I think he is, as he's wrapping, he's sensing the echoes of how it was wrapped before, and seeing where the after images of like the onion skin if you were animating, but like where the wrappings were before, and like just putting them back how they were.
Yeah. Okay. You're trying to roll me in a tune. This is going to be a desperate action. So take an experience because this is a very dangerous thing you're handling. Magpie, as you approach this thing, you more than anyone else feel a shiver down your spine.
Okay.
This is the best dice I have now.
What did you get?
6 and a 5.
Okay.
Oh!
You
Ghost energy blue.
perfect. You wrap it without activating it. Now, as you're passing it though, Magpie, you clearly notice on the wrapping is the seal of House Anixis.
We'll deal with that later.
Which is the noble house that you used to belong to, as a servant, not as a noble. Then something clicks in your head. Wait a minute. Obsidian black rock with strange, huge magic in it. Could this be a piece of one of the demon spires in Waduasha, which holds the 4 demons in it? They're like archdemons who fell from the heavens and crashed into the earth 1,000 years ago. They're like uber powerful demons that used to be stars.
Man, I want to.
Possibly. So if that is true, you are basically holding one of the most valuable things you have ever heard of. If that is true, you are holding something that is going to be impossible to sell quietly.
I mean, it's
Good thing we're stealing it for someone else.
Yeah, it's not for
You're
us. It's their
holding
problem.
something that will drive you insane very quickly.
Yeah, we'll play hot potato.
Something that we
Shrike will be fine.
and pass off the counterfeit to the red sashes.
Great.
So,
So I'm gonna say you got the great effect. I'm gonna say Corbin as the mistress mind. Can you narrate to me the escape, like how you all? I mean, you escape.
wait, no, we still have the 2 people to deal with, don't we?
I think.
No, you kind of like they're like blinded and.
I
screaming.
think. If you want to do this, Raven, let's just quickly subdue them. Like I just smashed a vial of flash powder or slumber essence in front of them, and we're just gonna get out of here because we don't want noise.
Right, because Strike's like, do we want to leave them alive?
No, we don't have time.
Murder gets messy. Murder
It
gets
gets messy. I am going to flashback for a second,
Yeah.
and you know what? I'm going to run this thing like a cart, and just like I made a little deal with our friend, the ghost, our what was it?
Dowler.
Dowler.
Oh, you explorer. Yeah.
Yeah. If there's any, give me routes anywhere near in case we.
Yeah. So now is the time for those pipes.
Yep. Let's go to our boat.
Yep. So I found like maybe
Was
got
there
a
any
shortcut.
Gold things in this room that we could grab on the way out?
It's
No.
actually the walls are
Okay.
plated in gold.
All right. Never mind.
Yeah. So
Was there
yeah,
anything on either of the two?
Say that again, Raven.
So I
Sorry,
said
was
just
there
like.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Was it when we were subduing them with the powder and just kind of like push them around? Was there anything like of value that they had, like maybe just hang around their neck or
Yeah, I'm gonna say the nun dropped a pretty fancy symbol of the Church of the Ecstasy of the Flesh. That's more fancy than a random because she's a high-ranking nun, right? Priestess. Can you describe it for me a bit, Raven?
Yeah, so it's like a.
I don't know the symbol of this. Yeah. Oh, actually, wait. What is that omen that you saw?
Which the one from
From your backstory, you had that omen.
I don't remember. I had like a I've got the symbols on my hands. I don't remember an
Yeah,
omen.
which is part of this.
We said they were an omen of something too. I remember.
Oh yeah. I can't find my sheet from that. I'll have to. Yeah, it's like
Okay, so I'm gonna say you haven't been in Duskwall that long, right? So,
No.
so you haven't had a lot of truck with the church. But it turns out that the symbols on your palms, which is also the omen you saw, are this holy symbol of the Church of the Ecstasy of the Flesh.
All right, well, I take it then. If I see that, then he just instinctively reaches down and picks it up, and he just
did the 2 people pass out? Will we have like
they're
a?
kind of like blinded and like scrabbling around, screaming, and
Okay, so not a lot of time.
the nun fainted. Yeah, she fainted.
Okay.
And Corbin knocked the other one out.
Yeah.
it was like smoke powder, and yeah.
Do we want to maybe like grab some of this, probably maybe some of the walls off and just take with us?
That might take too long.
Hmm.
Though I was going to see if one of our arcane people could help me, like maybe burn a symbol of the guy I'm pretending to be into the floor where he charged them, and kind of like complete this image of.
Oh,
a
also
vengeful
we want
spirit.
to like dump the stuff that we had for the crows to like blame this on the crows.
Yeah. Yeah. Can I make that my final like a flashback that we got that?
That'll be a flashback. You can just do it. That's
Okay,
not
Let's do
a big action. That's like
Okay, so we're going with the crow story.
Because we had already flashback before that we had prepared that.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yep.
yeah. Okay, I'm gonna make a note.
I just
Symbol.
really want to spit on the nun. That's all I want to do.
Are you angry now? You didn't take that power where you can spit your venom.
No. This isn't like I don't want to do any damage. This is pure spite.
Okay.
Okay.
Perfect. So you spit. You dump the raven stuff. You like shed the clothing that you were wearing, the hollow clothing. Because like you like tear some of it off and dump it on the ground as like a symbol of the guy.
Mhm.
And you so Corbin, because it was Corbin and Shrike who located all the ghost portals and stuff. Corbin finds this like hole, like ghostly hole in the wall, which you like run through, and suddenly you're in the freezing waters of the canal. Flashback, who was there in the canal to pick you up?
Do you mind if I do? Because if I'm gonna stress out. That's
No, you don't have to stress for this. This is the end. So just tell me who it is, Corbin.
It's or the one of the gondoliers that I know. A little bit of a job.
Oh,
Tied our boat. I thought we tied our boat beneath one of the tubes.
yeah, but at this point you're like in the water floundering, right? So let's just flash back. You told someone to watch out.
Yeah.
And this is like Corbin's mastermind flashback.
Yeah.
She's like, you thought I would have left us alone with that gondolier? Honey,
Like a backup. It's a backup, definitely.
Corbin always comes through.
Can I?
Corbin has a backup of a backup.
Can it be? Can it be a stress?
Sure.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So a gondolier, which is another faction in the game, who Corbin is connected with somehow, is like there and pulls you all out and like helps you with your boat and his boat and everything, and you gondol away. I don't know. Pull.
You pull.
Pole. All right. Yeah, you pole away. Awesome. Okay. It's 9:50. We might extend 5 minutes after 10 to wrap up the post-heist moments. Is that okay with everyone?
Yeah, let's finish proper.
Okay, so we'll end at 10:05 most likely. Good heist, guys. That was your first heist together as a team. So I'm gonna go to the page.
Crazy shit.
Okay, so Yutsai, pull up your crew sheet. You're gonna need it now.
Oh, all right. Ready?
That was awesome.
Payoff. You earn coin based on the nature of the operation. It is either a minor job, a small job, a standard score, a big score, or a major score. I'm going to say normally it would be a major score with impressive loot, but because this thing is hard to like fence and stuff, it's going to count as just a big score.
Didn't we already have it lined up who we were giving it to?
Yeah, the Red Sashes.
Yeah, but then why would it be hard to fence?
Because they know this. They're like, who else are you going to give it to?
Okay, all right, yeah.
Makes sense.
Would it be possible since they
normally-
don't know what it's really like since they don't know what it actually is for us to make like a fake version?
No, and you didn't either. They just like it's an arcane thing.
Okay. Right just really wants it.
No, you don't try.
Now-
No, you don't.
Get this. It's 8 coin. However, the maximum coin your vault can hold is 4.
Oh.
So the rest of the coin you distribute amongst yourselves to put in your stash.
Sure.
Okay.
Okay? So you can put like 3 in the vault and 5 amongst yourselves if you want.
Okay.
Yeah, let's do
That
that.
sounds
I think
fair.
that's good.
Do
Okay.
that.
Your
And then we
stash,
just mark that on our little coin thing.
yes. And if you put it in your stash, that counts to your lifestyle. So that'll increase your lifestyle when you need to spend money for small things. And when you retire or die or whatever, or if you're in jail, you can use that for your life. However, moving from your stash back into your coin is expensive. So either keep in your coin now or put it in your stash.
What are the consequences?
Because we got some stuff we want to build.
Yeah. What were you saying, Raven?
I was gonna say, what's the consequence of like keeping the coin on your person versus in
Yeah,
your
just means it's
stash?
not in your stash. So if it's ever stolen or gone, it's not secure.
Gotcha.
And we can
And
upgrade our.
it doesn't count in your life. So your lifestyle, you're still tier 0. So if at some point you're like, I go to a party and I need fancy clothes, I'll be like, your lifestyle is 0. You don't have fancy clothes.
Gotcha. No, I think I'll put
I
mine in
get
my
it.
stash.
Yeah.
And you're like a grizzled war veteran. It seems.
What does he need coins
so
for? He.
And we can upgrade our vault to hold more coins.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. You can also put a
But
security.
that means that they don't get stolen when we.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Now heat. 4 levels, plus you're gonna get 2 for the devil's bargain. Was it smooth and quiet, low exposure, contained, standard exposure, loud and chaotic, high exposure, or wild, devastating exposure?
I think that we contained this.
I think
it was
seems-
contained.
Yeah, it sounds like that to me. All the stuff you did that was loud was in soundproof rooms or underground.
And then we charmed and sent away the people who no one actually saw us. All
Yeah.
they saw was a hollow.
Yeah,
before they got
exactly.
passed out. So they don't even know.
Good.
that-
So it's not smooth and quiet, but it's pretty contained. So
Yeah.
take 4 heat, 2 for contained, and 2 for your devil's bargain. Okay? Great. So mark heat on the heat tracker. Okay. When your heat reaches 9, your wanted level goes up. Okay? Okay. That doesn't happen. That doesn't happen. Okay. Everyone, at the bottom of your character sheets, for the crew sheet, Magpie. The crew sheet has questions for experience. Can you read the first one out?
Oh gosh, I have my doc pulled up instead of the.
Oh, okay.
Oh no, I got it here, right here.
Okay.
Of the crew sheet.
Has like experience.
Yes, at the end of each section, for each item below, mark 1 XP,
In
or
the
instead mark
crew,
2.
not for the people, okay? You mark crew XP for these.
Crew XP, yes.
Okay.
So, do we execute successful espionage, sabotage, or theft operation?
Yes.
Yes.
Technically, yes, it
Yes.
was successful, and it was an operation.
And it was
We survived the Dimmer Sister house.
We did exactly what we wanted to do.
Exactly.
All right. Next, contend with challenges above your current station.
Oh,
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
God, yes,
Yes.
100%.
Yes.
Yes.
And if these happen multiple times, we can mark 2 XP per question. Third
I
question.
feel like the heist one, I think we got that book and what we wanted. So that's kind of like we had a double big heist.
Oh, yeah, we do have that
Yeah,
book.
we got the book. We have more arcane things.
Oh, yeah.
Book, we got like a
I just
day.
saying, like, we did,
your crew is weird. So okay, sure.
Okay.
We got that J thing. That thing might be magic. Who knows? Blood.
Third question. Bolster your crew's reputation or develop a new one.
We're weird.
You did
No.
weird.
We're weird and we did weird
Weird.
stuff.
You told a bunch of urchins to go knock on a haunted house. That definitely bolstered your reputation, right?
All right.
All right.
And last one. Express the goals, drives, inner conflict, or essential nature of the crew.
Weird? Weird.
We
I feel one of you. I mean, you're at war with the Dimmer sister. Or sorry, you don't like the Dimmer sisters, but that's not your goal. I think your goal was to take territory from the crows, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
And we set them up for this too.
So you set him
Yeah.
up. there,
Yes,
but you
we
didn't
set them up.
do- I think the last one doesn't apply as much.
Okay.
Okay.
Isn't there one about like were we thematic to like? Oh, that's the personal one. Isn't
That's
it?
the personal ones. Yeah. Okay. So how much you get? Like 4 XP for your crew.
Yep. 4 out of 8
Oh.
before we get an upgrade.
I will say that taking the book and the artifacts is essential because our thing is to build an automaton,
That's true, though.
and we have
You
a
know what?
book.
Okay. Take the 5.
Okay.
And because we're a 4-part campaign, take an extra one for the campaign.
Nice.
Okay.
Oh,
6
we're
out of
almost
8.
there.
Sweet. Sweet.
Okay, then each person, you have like 3 questions. So can we each go 1 question at a time? So let's start with Shauna. What's your first question?
First question is: do you address the challenge with calculation or conspiracy?
Did you do that?
Yes.
When do you think you did that?
I think calculation was setting up the kids to knock on the thing.
Nice.
And we wanted them to.
Perfect. So get 1 XP for that, and that can be any type of. Oh, sorry. Did it say XP or just mark it and you get XP depending on all the questions?
Just says at the end of the session, mark 1 XP or 2 if it's done multiple times.
Okay, so I would say you get 1 for that, and that XP can be anywhere. It can be a playbook XP, or it can be an XP for your.
I'll say also getting the gondolier into the right spot at the end.
I think that's less conspiracy, and that's just planning.
Calculation.
Oh, okay, sure. So you get 2.
2. Okay. Express your belief, drives, heritage, or background.
Did you do that really?
I would say that like blaming the crows is high on my list. Getting the criminal element in Crow's Nest involved fits my thing because I'm from Crow's Nest.
Yeah, and you're a spider, so yeah. Okay, get next for
I
that.
also think you did that when you were like just holding your charm and
Yeah, I was gonna say.
not doing that was very.
Oh, that's a good one.
That was very much like your background.
Yeah, so get 2 for that. Okay.
You struggle with issues from your vice or trauma during the session. Not this time. Maybe next time. because
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Let's go to Jackdaw. Mac.
Okay, so you address the challenge with technical skill or mayhem.
You did at least with the wrecking.
Yeah, I think I did at least once.
Yeah.
I feel like you did that as well when you helped do the explosions in
Yeah, I
his
was
robe.
Oh yeah. Okay. 2.
setting up the explosions for Magpie.
Yep. So that's 2.
Second question, you expressed your beliefs, drives, heritage, or background. I didn't do that this session.
Okay.
I don't think I did. And then third, you struggled with issues from your vice or traumas during the session, which I don't think we got.
Okay. So 2 XP, and they can go anywhere. Awesome. Raven. Jim.
Yeah, so addressed a challenge with violence or coercion. I think like the butler, those goes to the servants.
Yep, definitely.
Definitely with that one. And then I don't know if the blood goat, that's not really coercion or
I think you just get 1 for that then. Yeah.
just the one. Express your beliefs, drives, heritage, or background. I mean, I think there are a couple
definitely.
of role-playing moments for that one. Yeah, and then
Yeah,
struggle
with the horse, definitely.
Yeah, the horse thing.
I wouldn't have fought that horse, I don't think.
The horse is off limits.
Yeah, it's bad luck. You struggled with issues from your vice and traumas during the session. Maybe I think like it touched on it, but I don't know about struggle.
Okay, so 2 XP.
Yeah.
Okay, Strike, Jordan.
You addressed the challenge with knowledge or arcane power.
Yeah, I'd say you did more than a few times. So 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You express your beliefs, drives, heritage, or background.
What'd you think?
I think I did that for sure, where I went for the book instead of doing anything. And also, when every single time I walked into a situation where there was ghost stuff, I immediately tried to apply what I'm good at.
Yeah, cool. Okay.
You struggled with issues or vices or traumas during this session. I think with my vice, because in the situations like running for the book and that kind of stuff, like he was going for, you probably shouldn't have grabbed that book or turned around that mirror, but he's like, I'm touching this no matter what, kind of thing. I mean, what do y'all think?
Do you think it was a struggle? That your
vice is
really a struggle?
It seemed like maybe an indulgence of the vice, something like that. Like I can see how it would be like
guided by
it. Would have gotten a struggle if it was a difficult decision. Should I do it or should I not do it? Or that you made the decision that was actively worse for you.
Could have been.
I mean, I'll leave that one up to y'all because I think yeah, but I don't. It doesn't.
I'm not sure, to be fair.
Okay.
I just realized something I forgot when I was excited about looking for arcane things and I broke the shelf. Would that count as struggling for something with my vice? Because my vice is finding arcane things and breaking them.
Sure. Especially if you broke something, yeah.
I did a bad for y'all, so
that's right. Always do the bad for yourself.
Okay, so Jordan, I don't know if it's a struggle, but that's your decision. It didn't feel very struggly to me in this case.
I mean, I wouldn't say he struggled with it, but he made that decision based on.
Yeah. Okay, so this is your decision to make. This isn't the DM's decision. So
yours.
Okay. And then Magpie.
Yes, I addressed a challenge with deception or influence.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
Totally.
I wonder if I could also count trancing the servant at the beginning. If that was
What do you guys think? Yeah?
That was a good one.
Yeah.
Otherwise, people left
It's
it
by
off.
it's
Great.
subterfuge. Yeah.
I think that was clever, yeah.
Okay. Next, you express your beliefs, derives heritage or background. My background is being a servant and aiding others, and I believe, I think maybe my idea about being behind. So if things really hit the fan, I could probably give everyone else an advantage by pretending to be a monster they're fleeing from.
Yes, that doesn't seem very servant-like to me. That
Yeah.
seems scoundrel-like.
No, I think that seems like someone who is used to putting themselves in the worst position and constantly puts themselves.
Sacrificial.
Also maybe replaying the whole strapping bombs to my jacket and being willing to jump in the middle of things.
I think the one that really counts is you found this Eruvian thing, which is related to your heritage, and you told people about
Oh
that.
yeah, that's right. I have no idea what that
Counts
is.
a bit more.
I don't know
next
how
time.
dangerous that thing is.
And I feel like your
truly.
actory heritage you really used in that really good description scene about like how you're hitting your marks.
Yeah.
That was very much
Oh,
your
cool.
heritage, kind of.
So GM, would that be 1 or 2?
That's your decision.
Okay. I think it's varied enough to count for 2 at least this time.
Okay.
And I struggled with issues from advice or traumas during the session. Honestly, Magpie was pretty certain about every action he took. Like when he fucked up, he regretted it, but it wasn't really a struggle to make the choice.
Yeah.
So
Okay. So
won't count it.
perfect. Okay. Then the last 2 things we might go like 2 minutes over. First, we do entanglement. What is our heat right now?
Our heat, since we had 2 plus 2, would be 4.
4. Okay, Mistress Mind, can you roll me 2 d6s?
2d6. 4 and a 2.
Okay, use the result. Okay, so you got a 4. Okay, you either get reprisals or you get unquiet dead.
Oh boy, both of those are. We deserve either one of those.
Enemy makes the move against you. Pay them per tier of the enemy as an apology, or fight back and show who's boss, or they just hurt you. So I'm gonna say your information broker. What's their name again?
My information broker. Oh no, my information.
Oh.
Oh no.
Zalia.
Thalia, the one who found the blueprints to the Dimmer sisters' house and gave it to you.
Yeah.
A few days later, you go to see Salia to like do whatever other mini heist that you're doing, and Salia's missing, and you ask around, and Salia's missing, and you get maybe Magpie or someone or Raven to break into Salia's house, and she is not there, but there is a carving of 3 moons.
Oh god.
In her on her bed. So
Oh boy. Oh no.
so she is missing. Doesn't mean she's dead. You can find her maybe.
Yeah.
You know what room she's in.
Yeah. There's only. Oh. Yeah. That'll be a maybe a downtime thing because I have those. We'll get this.
Okay. So yeah, that happens. You can fight back, show them who's boss, etc., etc. Okay. So you also gained and lost some rep. So I'm gonna say you gained a rep, not rep. You gained a thingy with the red sashes. They are now +3 to you. This is the highest you can be with a faction. They will go out of their way to help you just because it helps you.
We brought back the missing sun spirit and their items. We found out what happened to them. So
And I'm gonna say the Dimmer sisters are kind of clueless, but because you spat on the church, the nun knows now. So the church of the Exfiltrating Flash is -2 with you.
Uh-oh.
Did she like trace that
What?
somehow?
You know what? That's worth it. It was worth it.
yes.
Priorities.
It's personal.
You also get 2 rep per score by default. The target is higher tier than you. So you get +1 per tier higher. I think the target's tier 3. So you
boy.
get 4 rep total.
my God.
Okay, are you marking that, Magpie? Sorry, Yutsai. When you mark that fully, you get to level up and stuff. And then finally, downtime activities. Do we want to leave this for next time? Since it's
Yeah, let's leave it for next time.
Yeah, we're running out.
Maybe we could even like RP the little thing about like giving the sun's ghost back at the beginning.
Yeah, we can do a scene about that next time.
That would be a fun scene to do.
Yeah.
If you want, feel free to look up the downtime activities. You each get 2 plus 1 extra because your business mind is good at pulling cobwebs,
So
such
nice.
as like
Yes.
pulling strings. Make sure you try, and you'll probably have to indulge your vice to get rid of some stress. Some of you may have to heal, so it might take the recover action. Okay.
We can talk about this in the back channel.
Yeah, that's well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, that was the first episode of Corvids Kiss by Lamplight. No kissing happened, but lots of Corvids happened, especially since there was dead people, which means the ravens from the tower of the wardens are now circling the Dimmer Sisters' house because someone died there. Of course, they caused the death, so it doesn't.
Yeah, but we took the ghost. So would it that kind of like not do that or?
Dead
Well,
body.
now that the ravens will know that someone has illegally taken a ghost.
Oh, it's a Dimmer Sisters. Dimmer Sisters took it.
Yeah,
the
maybe,
Dimmer
right?
Sisters fought.
Exactly.
The bodies in that room.
Yeah. Awesome. I hope you had a good time. I think we're ending the stream. Thank you, everyone who watched us. I know this is going to go on YouTube. My name is Sharang Biswas. I'm the GM. I'm also a game designer and writer and artist in New York City. The others talk about who they were. Follow us on Twitter. Show love to indie game people. Check out the Patreon that Grant has, because Grant makes a point to pay all of us who are performing for you, kind of using that. So support indie artists using that. Some of us are indie artists full time. So yeah, I hope you support that. Support WebDM, not WebGM. And Jim, do you want to say anything else?
Yeah, let's go around and have everybody. Sorry, I'm not looking at my camera. Let's go around and have everybody just tell us who you are, where we can find you online, and if you have anything cool coming up that we might want to pay attention to. And Jordan, let's start with you.
Hi, I'm Jordan Shively. I write weird stories and also write for games occasionally. Currently writing for Emberwind and a couple other games. I have a website, jordanshively.com. I write stuff at the Dread Singles Twitter account, at Hottest Singles, and I make t-shirts for Void Merch at voidmerch.net.
Boom. And Yutsai.
Yes, I'm Yutsai. I like to play games online, and I won't not do too much, but hopefully that's changing.
Excellent. And Shauna.
Hi, Flying Source on Twitter. I do art and have pin tweets. All the games I play. All my characters are neutral to evil at this point, so I'm in a place right now.
Very good. Mac.
Hi, I'm Mac, but you can find me over at Mackenzie Lane DA on Twitter. I do a bunch of streaming here, Scarticus Academy, Greyhawk Channel, and Encounter Roleplay. I put all the tweets on my Twitter. And I also do writing. So this month, at the end of this month, I am producing a D&D 5e module called I've Been, which is based on my own struggles with mental health, and I'm super excited for it to come out. And I'm very nervous about it, but it'll be fun. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Excellent. And Sharang, anything else?
And yeah, so you check out my Twitter at Sharang Biswas. It links to my website. Currently, I'm writing a column for SubQ magazine, which are like thinky sort of essays about interactive fiction. And I just released a new game produced by World Champions Co. It's called You Will Be Liquid. It's a one-player role-playing game about wandering through a gay club, and is about unrequited longing, which all gay people have felt. And if you say you haven't, you are deluding yourself. And yeah.
Cool. All right. And I am Jim Davis, co-host of WebDM. You are on the WebDM Twitch channel. And I do believe that these will eventually make their way over to the WebDM Plays YouTube channel, which is where we archive all of our games. Go check them out. Check out all of the players, DM everybody on the stream, just because they're all doing awesome stuff. And it's great to just be supportive. And there you go. Enjoy the rest of your week, guys. And we will see you here next Wednesday. Bye.